welcome back to the Final Cut Podcast. We got a special guest. We got BRIT here.
Hello, hello.
All right, his name is Britain. He's an MCU, DCU. You know, he's into space. Okay, so our guy, our best friend. Go ahead and introduce yourself. You know, put yourself out there. Your skin, open your body up to the world.
Hello, guys. I'm Britton Cooper. I'm best friends with these two goofballs.
We forced them onto the podcast.
And they have allowed me to be on their podcast, and I cannot be more excited to jump on here and talk about comics with you.
Yeah, mention your own comic book that you're working on.
So,
into that, buddy.
So I have been, about 6 months ago, I've had this idea for a while. Growing up, I was a huge Dungeons and Dragons guy.
Yeah.
And I always thought like a super cool Dungeons and Dragons setting. What are y'all giggling about, huh?
I'm sorry, go. Dungeons and Dragons setting. Have you seen the movie, by the way?
I have not, bro.
Oh, it's so fire.
It's really good.
It's so fire.
But yeah, and I always wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons in like a Wild West setting, and I always wondered what that looked like. And so last like Christmas time, I started like really jumping in. Well, over a year ago, I actually wrote almost 100 pages of a fantasy novel, like not even
which
a comic.
we read, not all of it, but we started reading it.
Mm-hmm.
It was fire.
And to this day, it's the best thing I've written. But I scrapped it only because to me it was just so neutral. Like it was so like I wasn't adding anything new. And there's a million different fantasy books out there, and I just didn't feel like it was new or unique or like wouldn't really stand out or grab anybody's attention. And so finally I had the idea to push for a Wild West fantasy series. So in December, my girlfriend's sister is an incredibly talented artist. Like it is truly insane. I hope Lauren's watching, but it's truly pretty crazy how good her art is. And I can guarantee you, if it ever does come out, the art will be better than
What's
the
her
story.
name?
Lauren.
Shout out.
Lauren.
Lauren.
But yeah, I can almost guarantee the art will be better than the story. Not because the story will be bad, but the art's going to be.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's going to be that good. But anyways, and so we started diving into it in like December and January, and she was helping me write. And I've been writing things since I was like 12 years old. Like I used to write like, oh, if I made a Marvel movie, like this is what I would write.
Yeah.
And I have never hit a worse writing block in my life than I did trying to work on this comic. It was just really difficult for me to. I would write a draft and I'd be like, all right, this like there's not enough fantasy in this. Or then I'd write another draft and I'm like, well, this is just a fantasy story. There's no like Wild West. Yeah, like this doesn't feel like a Wild West story. Like I was trying to find this perfect medium of like Wild West and like fantasy.
Which, by the way, is a unique, I feel like, category.
Yeah, and like I feel like
I'm not like I haven't seen any Wild West fantasy.
Yeah,
at least not in like in my space.
I haven't really either. I tried looking for like other things like, and I'm sure there is, but I couldn't really find anything mainstream necessarily. And that's the big reason why I went for it, because I was like, this can be really unique. Like this could be something that hasn't really been done before, or at least at a scale that I'd like for it to get to. And yeah, I just couldn't find a tone or a theme or like a good mix that I really liked, and so I kind of just stopped working on it. And recently, I saw something, and it really inspired me to move forward, and it gave me like a new idea and sparked something. So I've been working on getting that up. But anyway, so it would be called The Oasis,
okay.
And it is set in this part of the world called the Wastelands. And in the Wastelands, there is an eternal, never-ending black sandstorm. And inside the sandstorm, there's monsters, there's demons, there's just dark magic and whatnot. What are you giggling about, bud?
I like the way this is going.
But inside and traveling through the sandstorm is almost impossible.
Yeah.
But inside, there are certain areas called oases where there's holy water, like rivers or ponds or whatnot, and that protects the area from the sandstorm. And so it's about a group of people who try to discover the truth of how the world came to be in this kind of apocalyptic era that it's in, and also trying to find a way to get out to find the true oasis. So that is the premise.
Story so far?
Yeah, that is the premise.
as he continues to work on that, we'll like once you get going with that, it'll be a big part on this podcast. Like it'll be seen more. You'll hear more about it on here.
Yeah.
Because I mean we support it, so I mean
Thank you.
we'll put it out there for sure. So yeah, keep the lookout for it. You started last December, so it's still relatively
It's
new.
still really new. I'm working on like writing lore, like geopolitics, like a lot of the base work, the magic system, the
It's
monsters.
not a year process.
It'll at the earliest I could see it coming out is maybe when I'm like 25 or 26, like 4 or 5 years.
But that's still so awesome, dude.
But I'm working on it, and I have not even talked to Lauren about my new revelation yet. But she already was drawing sketches.
Shout out to her. She didn't have to do that.
Oh man, it looks good. It looks really good. If y'all are able to put it in, I can show y'all some of the sketches. I mean, they're real light. There's no color and there's no.
Okay, send me pictures and I'll put
But I
it
can definitely.
JC do the last episode, and she was like, right here on the screen, like, put nothing there. I was like, fuck that guy.
He's not gonna do it.
Yeah. Well, shout out, this is Britt, like you say, he's working on
Nice
that.
to meet you.
Yeah. And let's dive into the deep
Let's
stuff.
do it.
This is gonna be a heavy, if MCU, DCU movies, like those like aspect superheroes aren't your thing, like if they aren't your thing, then you know what I'm saying, boo-hoo. But it's gonna be very heavy in the aspect. I'm sure there's gonna be some anime in there.
Yes.
Some basic movie stuff because we're gonna do it.
Just for me.
Yeah, we're gonna have like an agree to disagree segment and then a hot take segment. So basically, the agree to disagree is just we're throwing out statements. We can either agree or disagree with them, and then just argue about them. Period. And then the hot takes is we each one by one say a hot take, try to get the other two to get mad or break for a point, I guess you would say. And then we can go on from there, try to piss each other off, rage bait, whatever you want to do.
Rage baiting?
Basically, Professor
Rage bait.
But you
have to
fully
believe it.
believe
Yeah, you
this
can't
shit,
just be
though.
like,
yeah, Batman's gay, oh, you know?
Alright.
It's June, it's okay, I promise. But
Oh boy. Let's cut that
ah.
part out. We're gonna cut that part out.
no, we're not. Paying first apology video. Sorry.
No. It's an us apology
Yeah.
video. Just
We're
click
sorry,
it.
guys. No.
We're sorry. I didn't do shit, but we're
Yeah.
sorry.
But yeah, so you want to do hot takes first?
Yes.
All right. So you want to start? Who wants to start? Me?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
I'm gonna go relatively.
We haven't
calm.
told each other these, so we've been waiting.
We've been best friends a long time, but we still don't know fully or like our opinions on everything.
I completely forgot all my hot takes, so this is gonna be a surprise to me too.
See,
All right.
He doesn't even believe him.
So I have two that'll really piss off. I feel like most of these people, but the
Let's do one at a time. You do
yeah,
one
we're gonna do one at a time.
Yeah.
The Dune movies,
Oh,
Dune
okay.
1 and Dune 2 combined, are both incredibly overrated and do not hold Star Wars like candle at all. They don't touch Star Wars. They're not close. They're complicated political movies that the strength of certain characters doesn't make sense. I think there's certain plot points that don't make sense, and I think people that came out that were like, this is cinema, peak cinema, and it's better than A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and all those movies, is you're completely false and you just have a lack of, I don't know, brain power. I think it's super stupid that somebody can truly believe that opinion.
So like, what plot points do you think don't make sense?
I physically can't tell you what Dune 1 is about. It makes no sense to me. And then Dune 2, Lisan Al-Gaib, right, is like, what, he's fought like 3 fights in his life, or he was trained by the guy.
So
who was he trained by? What was the guy's name?
I can't
He
remember.
plays like Aquaman or something.
Yeah, but
He was trained by him, and then he goes fights this fucking other dude who's nowhere near his level, and he gets stabbed.
what
That's
other
stupid
dude?
power.
What other dude?
Austin Butler's character.
What do you mean he gets that? Wait, who is nowhere near his level?
Timothy Chalamet should be he shouldn't like face any challenges in my opinion.
What do you mean?
So in that final fight,
There's no.
he almost loses.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Because Austin
doesn't
Butler's
make
character is like the strongest
No.
Harkonnen and like.
Any sense.
So
He's the
Paul, the Lisan Al-Gaib in and of itself is a lie. You know that, right? Like do you know that?
No. But it's like, it's just, I think it's just one big stupid political movie.
Alright, well,
But
that
listen,
in and of
if you're-
itself that tells me everything I need to know
No,
what you do know.
it's nowhere near, it's not Star Wars.
So, first of all, Dune 1 I get is slow. I still think it's really good. I think Dune 2 is a mile better than any Star Wars movie.
That is completely false. New Hope changed cinema.
Sure, if you want to talk about like influence on movies, yeah, of course, like A New Hope, the original Star Wars trilogy as a whole like, it's not even a comparison, but like, as a movie, Dune 2, I think is much better. But so the Lisan al Gaib is a lie told to the Furman, so that at some point when the Atreides had to come in and to get all the spice, they could essentially brainwash the people into thinking that he was there to save them and to like be their leader. And so the whole point is that he's not necessarily the chosen one like he's said to be. It's not like Star Wars with Anakin where he is the chosen one. It is a lie. But like essentially, Paul Atreides is so smart and so skilled at everything because he is, you know, one of the biggest politicians in the galaxy and one of the biggest, you know, figureheads in the whole entire galaxy's son, or you know, the new mantle. So it's almost like if you think of any massive political figure in the world, think of their son. Like they have access to anything in the world, like the best, you know, martial art instructors or you know, weapon instructors or you know, just world knowledge in general. Like they have access to all of that. So that's pretty much why he's so good at everything that he is.
It's still just on an entertaining aspect. Doesn't touch Star Wars.
Dune 2 is so good.
Shut the fuck up. 8 out of 10.
That's not a bad rating.
It's good movies. It's a good series. I can't wait for Dune 3. Let's do Messiah, right?
Yeah.
It's not Star Wars. I don't get it.
I like Star Wars a lot better, but to be fair, I couldn't even finish Dune 1, and I barely even like Dune 2, so I don't really remember.
And how many times have you seen Dune 2?
I've seen this once.
Twice? I've only seen it once. I saw it on release with you.
Now, that was a good time too. But I will say, like, obviously I understand the appeal of Star Wars. And this is also, I'll also let you know, I'm not the biggest like sci-fi guy in the world. For someone that loves like comic books and stuff like I do, like the intergalactic like space and like all that stuff isn't necessarily my thing. I'll still like enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but it's not like my thing. Like I much prefer like if you give me like, you know,
Batman's Marvel.
Yeah, Batman or
I'm the same way. Like, so like if someone was like Star Wars,
a high fantasy story, something like that.
By all means, but next, JC, you next or Britt? Which one do you want to go?
Britt's next.
Okay.
We're just gonna go.
All right. You don't got to start off crazy strong now.
This is just my first one on the list.
Go for it.
The second one is the thing that I think will make you the most mad. The first and the third I don't think are that crazy.
Go for it.
My first one is I think the Nolan Batman trilogy is the most overrated.
Yes! Dude!
And hold on, I'm not done. I think it is the most overrated like comic book thing ever, and I think it is a horrible representation of Batman, his mythos, and I think also it caused this horrible trend in comic book movies at the time to make everything so dark.
Yeah.
So like you think of Man of Steel, I think Man of Steel was heavily like influenced
by the Dark Knight.
In a bad way by the Dark Knight.
Dude, you ready for this? One of the hot takes I was telling you about, the Dark Knight Batman is unwatchable, right? I have it like that. Not only is it, as I don't like the way it's shot, not only am I tired of Batman grounded stories, but Christian Bale's performance as Batman to me is god awful.
Yeah.
The suit is terrible, the voice is terrible.
Horrible.
It's like I cringe watching it.
And
I don't see the beloved like vision that they had.
like I don't get it either. I think Heath Ledger's Joker's amazing. I think the villains in general are really good.
Yeah.
And like as a story, like they're well written stories, I feel
But it's
like.
just not
But as a
Batman.
and I just hate like the whole reason why I'm watching a comic book movie is for something not to be realistic.
Exactly my
Like-
point, which is I will get into later with the DCU and the Pattinson universe.
Yeah.
But I'm not watching, I don't want to see a Batman movie that could realistically, honestly, fucking happen like
Yeah.
outside where we
I
are.
want to see Mr. Freeze, Killer. I want to see a
why
10
is
foot
Bane?
tall
Why is
crocodile.
Bane built like JC? You're Bane. He fucking looks like you, just without the dreads. He was wearing.
Oh my
I'm like 95% sure that he was wearing like heels in the scene to be taller.
It was Tom Hardy.
Yeah, he was wearing
Just
heels.
being Tom Hardy.
Which Tom Hardy gives a great performance. Like there's
Yeah. I mean, it's not.
Christian
they're not
Bale's-
bad movies.
his Bruce Wayne is fantastic.
Yeah, and
But he's corny kind of.
I don't think they're bad movies. I just think if you're talking about Batman stories, I think they're
And I think
so
we got
weak.
a better Batman in 2021.
And I 100% agree. I think Robert Pattinson. I think even though the Batman in itself is also kind of grounded, it still leaves room, and it's not trying to explain every single thing. It's not like, oh, this can happen because of this real world.
Corny.
Right.
I wasn't cringing. Like
Yeah.
when you put the Dark Knight on TV and he's in costume, I physically can't sit and watch it.
Mhm.
You know? What do you feel? Great take. Oh my god.
Great take.
It's a lot of
I love you.
I agree that is the most inaccurate representation of Batman. I mean, that's point blank period. However, I still love the movie.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I love it for
Sure.
what it is. And
Yeah.
it's a cool
well-written
Batman
story.
movie. It's just not accurate.
But also, you ready for this? So Batman is what? Mastered every art of combat, basically, right? The choreography in those movies is some of the worst of all time. It's so
It's a lot of
awful.
throws and a lot of.
It's terrible.
It's really weird.
Watch, slow down a scene and watch it. It's as bad as like the Rise of Skywalker, fucking the night fight. It's awful.
It's because like the suit is so stiff, you can't move in it. So there's no.
And the chin.
Yeah,
I
because you
hate
can't.
it.
Yeah,
I
and
hate it so much.
like I think Batman Begins actually isn't too bad as far as trying to be too realistic. I think like it's Gotham feels more stylized. There's still like Ra's al Ghul and like there's fantastical elements to it.
I haven't seen that movie.
But I think The Dark Knight and what was it? The Dark Knight Rises, like it just goes all in on just like this hyper realistic, like it doesn't even feel like.
And it's,
Batman.
I mean, it's.
It doesn't feel like Gotham.
Christopher Nolan, great director, probably
Yeah.
my favorite of all time.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
He shouldn't do Batman movies.
Yeah, and like, and this is still something I even like to this day I'm mad about. How come we've gotten however many just in the 21st century alone? There's been 3 Batman. They've been in like 5 movies if you count BVS as a solo movie, and there's not been 1 Robin. And I don't count that dude at the end of The Dark Knight. Right? That is not Robin.
Oh yeah, the cop.
The
cop
I
was
count
like,
that as Robin.
my name's Robin.
Like, Robin is just as important to Batman as Batman. And the Joker's been in all these iterations of him, but Robin hasn't.
And you know what's fair? We did get a non-grounded Batman, but that Batman was use an
killing
AK-47.
people. And
Yeah.
honestly, and this is kind of a take I have about that as well, I think if you're gonna do that, which I don't necessarily agree with, I think you have to see the lead up to what makes them do that. But just drop the first time we see Batman ever is that version of Batman. I don't think makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if you see like throughout time, like throughout movies, his code and his morality like get broken apart and you see him like fall apart, I think that would make sense and be cool.
Yeah.
If handled with nuance and done appropriately. But I think just like, all right, here's our Batman. He's fucking killing
Ben Affleck
200 people in this
he
movie.
doesn't have a solo movie.
Yeah, he's still.
No?
Yeah, he never will. Like,
Yeah, fuck no. But-
and I think it's just an underdeveloped character. Even though I think there's potential, like I said, if handled with nuance, that a Batman who kills can work.
What's the new
in
comic
right-
book series that came out?
I think I've heard. I think I know what you're talking about. But I can't.
Yeah, I forget the name, but anyways, we'll
Yeah.
we'll go into Batman more
Yeah.
later on.
But that,
Fantastic take.
Dude, I'm glad
I
we locked
adore
in
you.
that.
JC?
I'm sorry.
Take away, buddy. Let's see what you gotta say. My next one though, Britt, we're gonna.
I think my next one's going to make it.
All right, go for it.
All right. I believe the most poorly used superhero of all time is Superman.
Well, what do you mean?
When I say that, I say every Superman iteration that I feel like I've seen have not just been what it's supposed to be.
Superman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, this is pre-July 11th, so
This is a warm take. This
yeah,
is warm take.
that is very warm. Man of Steel is it's such like a different like Pa Kent style to a tornado.
Yeah.
Superman looks like a
Just
villain
looks
in 80% of the
miserable.
shots.
Yeah.
Like
It's terrible.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like I've said this before. Man of Steel, if you're like a Superman fan, like a fanboy,
Mhm.
you're gonna hate that movie.
Yeah.
But if you're like an average, like you just want to go enjoy movies, like you're like my dad or somebody, you're going to like it.
Mhm.
You know, because the action is
It's
kinda
cool.
But it's just that Superman kind of night, like he
It's not
destroys,
Superman at
yeah,
all.
he destroys Metropolis too.
Mhm.
It's like I don't know, the whole thing sucks.
I think Smallville and I think Superman and Lois are great representations.
Yeah,
of
Superman and Lois is fantastic.
I think
I've never watched them. I've never
yeah,
watched
that's
those
fair.
shows.
Yeah, yeah. I think the old Christopher Reeve is a great Superman example, but if you're just talking about like
Modern day.
yeah,
Yeah.
Cavill
On the big
or
screen.
who was it, Brandon Ruth or whoever, that
Yeah.
05 movie, which wasn't like horrible, but it's just kind of.
But it's also
those
like every
early
other
2000s.
superhero, except for Green Lantern. Green Lantern, that's not fair. He doesn't even have a lot of movies, but
Yeah, Batman's gotten
Like,
a good. Yeah,
but someone's gotten
And
it good.
Wolverine,
and
Iron- yeah, I see what
Superman
you're
and
saying.
Henry Cavill Superman in BVS and in Justice League and in Man of Steel, he kind of sucks in all three.
Yeah, he really does.
You know?
And I love Henry Cavill. I think he.
Yeah, I love
Like
him.
and I think David Corn Sweat looks great, but I like just as far as like putting a character from the comic book panel or an actor from the comic book panel to the movie, I don't think it'll ever get closer than Henry Cavill, but the script sucks.
All right.
they just all
All right.
kind of suck.
The first Suicide Squad with Diablo, with all those guys, is much better than the James Gunn Suicide Squad.
Oh my god, this is actually okay. Can I give my second hot take because it's actually
Go for it.
Okay, this is my second hot take. This is crazy. The James Gunn Suicide Squad movie is my second favorite superhero movie of all time.
Fucking bullshit.
It should be a consensus S tier top 5 to 10 comic book movie.
It's I can look. Okay. The reason why the first one I enjoy it is it's just like I just like the characters more. I don't give a fuck about Weasel. I don't care about King Shark's funny. He's a comedic relief. Peacemaker's kind of cool in that movie, but the show makes him so much better. What's the guy? Bloodsport? Who cares about Bloodsport?
He is so much cooler than Deadshot.
Oh, he's
so
fucking
much
not.
better.
No,
Really.
he's not.
Can I tell you why I love the Suicide Squad? The James Gunn
Yeah,
one?
go for it.
The reason why I think it's my second best or favorite, or however you want to put it, comic book movie ever, is because of all the comic book movies I have ever watched, and this is even over my number one, which is Spider-Man 2, is, in my opinion, the most like reading a comic book. Like the way it's shot, the colors, the chapters where like it'll be like spelled out by like the set, like that to me, it just feels so much like a comic book movie. It is so well shot. While it's not necessarily like what he did with the Guardians, like he was trying to make you like love this family,
And he did.
and I loved the characters in the Suicide Squad, but it was different because obviously a lot of the characters died throughout the movie, and he wasn't necessarily trying to do this like super hard found family trope like in the Guardians movies. But I still think it really makes you care about the characters and their team up and everything. And yeah, like I said, I think it's just like some of the most fun comic booky movie or comic booky in a comic book movie that I've ever seen.
Okay, so I can see
And
why you have that opinion.
Yeah.
But not only that, but I feel like the impact on culture that the first Suicide Squad movie had, that Joker, that Harley Quinn is the normal Harley Quinn now. That's not, is that bullshit? Every Harley Quinn looks like her. That's her.
Harley Quinn, yeah, okay, so sure, Harley Quinn in the first Suicide Squad kind of set the precedent for Harley Quinn.
The
But
Joker
Harley
sucks.
Quinn in James Gunn's Suicide Squad is a better Harley Quinn than in the first Suicide Squad.
I'll be honest, I'm gonna have to rewatch to do that. But the only thing I think the second one has better is humor. But I think it's like at some points
it's rated
corny.
R, so it's like it's more brutal. I think it looks so much better. Like the action just looks.
It just has more color. That's all it is, and that doesn't bother me. I don't care.
I don't
The first
see
one's
it.
not dark.
I really don't even see one area where the first Suicide Squad even comes close to the second.
That scene when
that is,
Deadshot's
like,
in
actually
prison,
the craziest
the
thing I've
prison
ever heard in my
sequences
life.
in the beginning of the movie when Deadshot's in prison and he's in there like giving him loaded guns and he's sniffing the fucking. That was so hard to me.
Dude.
And the score is so much better because they had what was the song they had? I don't know, but it's
21 Pilots.
yeah.
I really want to hear what people have to say in the comments.
I do
This is
too.
the one that it was so funny. Both of our second takes had to do with that.
And our
But-
first ones too. But
Yeah.
so I guess what JC's
We're
turn
locked
now.
in. But yeah, I really want to hear what people think because I think
I'm in the
Like I
huge
said,
minority. I know I am.
I think James Gunn's Suicide Squad is like without a doubt a top 10 con. I have it higher than most people, and I understand that I'm in the minority at being number
Dude,
2
you have
ever.
it above movies like
Any
Infinity
MCU
War,
movie, yeah.
Civil War. Like Civil War is better than the comic. The movie is based off the comic. It's so much better than the comic. But hey,
But yeah,
Your
but I
take
really
is-
want to hear what people have to say
Yeah.
about that because I think the first one's one of the worst superhero movies ever, and I think the second or the
I
reboot,
feel like that's
whatever
a
you want
pretty
to call
common
it,
take. Yeah.
is one of the best. So, anyways, Jason.
All right, Logan Paul.
Make sure you make that the thumbnail.
Yeah.
I think both of them suck.
Wow.
I don't
Damn.
like
That's
them.
our third.
It's like they just both
No,
suck,
he just
so it's
keeps
really
based
like
off of this,
which
yeah.
one's the worst one?
Also, so I can have one more.
Oh, okay. Here, go ahead. Might as well.
I
Blah
also
blah blah.
I also just love the Suicide Squad team. Can I
Yeah.
add that? Like I think the Teen Titans and Suicide Squad are like probably my 2 favorite comic book teams. So that does have an effect on it being my second favorite comic book movie ever. But anyways,
Anyway, they both suck. Just make sure that you guys
the
know
ultimate
that.
hater.
I'm not even trying to be the ultimate hater. I just did not like both of them. They were pretty boring.
Boring is crazy.
They were
To
just
be fair,
boring.
like when many and them aren't as big as on this superhero stuff me and you are, they hate the second one so much.
Yeah, I know.
Which I mean was like
It got
was a
great
shock to
critic
you,
reviews.
and it was a shock to me too.
Yeah.
Like I still give that movie like probably a 7.5, and it's still a good movie. I
Yeah.
just like the other one more, you know. I think I give Suicide Squad James Gunn 7. I think I would give the regular first one a 7.5. Yeah.
5.
All right, what's
No,
your
for real, it'd be a 4 for the first one, and then 5 for the second one.
At least the second one is better.
Yeah. All right.
It's because he's Peacemaker.
What's your next take?
All right, let me see. Again, I completely forgot him. So, I got one that's gonna get me either yelled at or agreed upon. Tom Holland is the worst Spider-Man.
JC, I love you. JC, come. Oh my God, I love you. Attaboy.
Okay.
You're back to me
Okay.
versus
Look,
after that
you
Suicide
ready?
Squad
Let
tape.
me ask you this question. I agree, live action wise, he's the worst Spider-Man, but he's not bad.
He's not bad. He's not
I
bad.
think the best Spider-Man we've ever gotten is Civil War Tom Holland Spider-Man.
I disagree.
Come on.
My favorite Spider-Man
Is that a metal arm? That's freaking fire.
is Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
We're all.
It's just.
All three hands. We're TASM 2 Truthers. TASM 2 Truthers.
TASM 3. Let's make that happen.
Are you a TASM 2 Truther?
I like it more than most, but
It's not.
Tasm one's my favorite of the two, though, by a
Okay,
mile.
TASM 1 fire. TASM
Yeah.
1 fire. Okay, we can. I'll get behind you on that.
If you can't get behind me, then I don't know. You're probably just
Hit the balls, maybe.
All
Alright.
I'll just say, and this is kind of my Spider-Man opinion as a whole. I do think Tom is the worst. I don't think he's necessarily bad. Like, and this is my, because people have a lot of disagreements and arguments about who their favorite is and what favorite movie or whatever. And this is what I always say: Far From Home is the only Spider-Man movie that I genuinely don't enjoy or don't like. I think all the others, even though a lot of them have plenty of flaws, like Spider-Man 3, TASM 2, like they're so bloated, there's so much going on. I still think there's like such fun and good like Spider-Man moments and Spider-Man like character arcs in it. And same with like Homecoming and No Way Home, like and Tom Holland as a whole. I think he clearly cares and clearly wants. I know you hate Homecoming, but
I'm itching at the throat to tell you something.
but yeah. Anyways, I do agree, but like I don't think he's necessarily bad.
I'm cutting you off.
But
Far From Home has better Spider-Man moments than Spider-Man Homecoming does. I would die on that hill. Spider-Man Homecoming has nothing. Okay, Far From Home at least.
nothing.
Listen, Far From Home at least has him. Like you finally see the spider sense kick in, and him fighting the drones in that final sequence. Like the end battle of Far From Home is better than the entire Homecoming movie in general.
Come on, Spider-Man, come on, and him pushing the whole
Oh,
level
it's
is
so
10 times
basic.
better than.
No, it's because he does that and then he loses the fight. Vulture beats himself. He literally beats himself. He gets a greedy he gets really greedy. He gets greedy.
The pause was crazy.
He gets greedy. Listen, I wasn't gonna say anything bad. He gets greedy. He tries to take Tony Stark's box and he blows himself up. Spider-Man does nothing and then he rubs him up and takes fucking credit.
I don't think he
Bullshit.
takes credit.
He does. He writes on this little paper. Oh, hey, I saved the day. Here's your Vulture guy.
I would too.
Far From Home has better. Far From Home, realistically, they're both bad Spider movies,
Yes, yes.
right? I love them both to death because I'm a loser. I'm a Spider-Man loser. But Far From Home has better Spider moments, and like, it's in Italy. Why does that have a better Spider moment than one that's based off of a New York movie?
So
It's in New York City.
and we kind of spoke about this in the car. Homecoming, I think, is so much fun. I think it's so rewatchable. I think it's very funny. I think, and this is
Porn?
yeah, this is my biggest issue by far in Spider-Man: Homecoming. At the end, right, like he beats Vulture using his own suit, everything that he's made, or Vulture, whatever. The conflict is over, and he understands. Oh, I don't need to be Tony Stark or Iron Man or an Avenger. I just want to help, the little guy out in New York and do my thing. And so then, he goes to the Avengers headquarters or whatever, and Tony Stark's like, oh, here's the Iron Spider suit. And he's like, oh, no, I'm okay, Mr. Stark. Like, I'm going to be my own guy. And he rejects that suit just to go home and accept another $1 million suit also made by Tony Stark. Like, in my opinion, if at that point he had made his own suit at the end of the movie, had a final swing in his own like comic accurate like proper suit, not that homemade one that he had in Homecoming. I think that would have been a pretty good like MCU Spider-Man origin story, coming of age story, whatever you'd like to call it. Than him being like, no, that $1 million suit, no, that's not for me. Like the other one, I'll happily take that. Like, I think that ruins like literally the whole movie. Like I still think it's like a 6.5 or a 7. I still think it's super fun and enjoyable. I think Tom Holland's very charismatic in it, but I think like that just completely kills like all the character development in that movie.
It does.
But yeah, I still think it's much more. I think it's funnier. I think I still think the character development is better in that movie, even though the ending kind of ruins it. But
what do you think about? Okay, for both of y'all, what do you think about the love story in Homecoming? It's like I feel like it's just shoe in, like it's stupid.
Yeah, and this is the issue I have with Homecoming as a whole, is that there's no stake. There's like literally no emotional stakes in the movie. Like there's no, every other Spider-Man movie, like something crazy, something like super
all of them.
emotional happens.
Spider-Man 1, it's with Aunt May, like Goblin's got
Uncle Ben dies.
Uncle Ben
Aunt
dies.
May almost dies.
Yeah.
He
Spider-Man
saves
2
MJ.
is like
his whole life is gone. His
Spider-Man 3
somebody else.
somehow gets worse.
Yeah.
And then the Tasman movies are, and Tasman 1, the whole world's turning into lizards.
Yeah,
and then Tasman 2.
And Uncle Ben dies, and then what's it called? Gwen's dad dies. Captain Stacy dies. Gwen dies. Like there's always these like and that's like the core of these Spider-Man movies. Like they're drama.
And then what's a safe for Spider-Man in? Oh, he can't go to prom.
Yeah, he can't go to prom.
No prom.
And yeah, and like I get that's the point. Like I get the whole point is that like the Tasman movies were so dramatic and so like divisive because of like the decisions made and how like moody or sad Spider-Man was in those. And so I get they were trying to flip the switch, but I think they course corrected a little bit too much. And I think like the fact that there's no like emotional stake or like other than like him like pushing the rebel off, which like I think is a great moment. But like there's no like emotional like Peter's life is about to be ruined or
his friends are in
danger. Like
no, Ned's he's sitting in a library making porn jokes. Yeah, like.
And so that's my biggest issue with Homecoming, and I do think that's where Far From Home is better in that aspect of like there are more emotional moments, like the turmoil with Peter I think is a little bit stronger, and like his friends are also like more involved in like save the day or whatever. I don't have a problem with the romance because it makes sense in high school. Like whenever you're in high school, like you have a crush on a new girl once a month or whatever.
So yes, Tom Holland is the bottom of our live action Spider-Man. Do y'all not think No Way Home, like that, give him credit for that, because he, like, in No Way Home, he's amazing. The whole time. And, like, you could take, you take Tobey and Andrew out.
And I completely disagree.
It's still a fantastic movie. It's still so good, dude. It's still so good.
No, I completely disagree.
We'll talk about it later, but we'll talk about it later.
Anyways, it's your third take, sir?
We could go.
Wait.
That was your take.
Yeah, so I was saying.
That was part of my take?
The whole thing with Spider-Man was yours.
Yeah.
Bro, y'all sat there and talked about the character. I was simply talking about the characters. Y'all went so far.
Oh, yeah, no, me and we
First
can have a
Spider-Man
whole 3 hour episode.
We can talk about it for a long time. Like,
I got another one another Spider-Man one.
Okay, I want to come into because I have a couple things I want to say, especially you mentioned the car, but I'll come back to it later. To me, there's a bunch of terrible comic book movies of all time, right?
This is gonna piss me off.
No, I don't think so. The absolute worst comic movie I've ever seen in my entire life is The Flash in 2023. When did it come out? 2023, right? 2022.
Yeah, I think it came out like right after that.
My little brother is the biggest Flash fan. I'm talking, watch the whole show, Netflix show, 10 seasons through 10 times. We walked out of that 2 out of 10. It is so awful. Ezra Miller, in my opinion, is terrible. The Batman, he's in it. He sucks. Yeah. George Clooney's in it at the end.
Flashpoint.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage, Superman.
You don't start a Flash movie
with Flashpoint.
Yeah. And I
especially
guess
when he's not even established.
That's kind of Snyder's fault with how he went about the universe, really. But that's not really a hot take. It's more so like a. Yeah. I feel like everyone should think. Like I think Green Lantern is better than the Flash.
Yeah. Like. So there's bad comic book movies, but that are like so kind of cheesy or corny that it's like fun. I think Green Lantern falls into that. I think like the Chris Evans like Fantastic Four movies fall into that, where it's like cheesy and old. Yeah, but it's so fun and has like charm to it. And then there's like slop like that. Like like the
Yeah,
Flash.
The Flash is. I don't only think it's one of the worst comic movies. I think it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah,
in
it's
my
pretty
entire life.
bad. I don't disagree at all.
But on to your next, buddy.
My third and final hot take, and I think this is something that is like gonna come completely out of nowhere. I don't think y'all might even have an opinion on this, but I watched this movie recently, and I think it's such an underrated comic book movie. I think X-Men First Class is one of the best comic book movies, or one of the best comic book origin movies, and the best, if you would like to give a genre to this, team origin movies. Like I think it's a better because obviously there's like the solo origin movies where it's like this is how Spider-Man becomes Spider-Man, but then there's like the Avengers where it's like this is how the Avengers team up. This is how the Guardians of the Galaxy got to be. I think it's a better movie than the first Guardians of the Galaxy and the first Avengers, and I think both those movies are great.
X-Men First Class.
That's the first one that has like the young Charles Xavier or what's the guy's name?
Okay.
McAvoy.
James McAvoy.
Yeah, or is that his name?
I think it's.
I know his last name is McAvoy. But yeah, I think it's so good, dude. I think it's such a good movie, and I think it's so underrated. And
Okay, I would have to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
This isn't the Nightcrawler one, is it? No.
No. This is like the origin of like where they go into a different timeline, and it shows how like Charles and Xavier meet, and like how the X-Men came to be. But, like Logan and Wolverine's in it for like literally one scene. Like he has like two
Okay,
lines.
you said that's one of your favorite group comic movies of all time?
That is my favorite group origin comic movie. I think like Infinity War is better. I think like
Okay.
I think there's other.
Whoa. Do you think the Avengers is worse?
Yeah. That's my.
You
my
think
hot take.
First Class is better than Avengers?
And it's not. I love Avengers. I think First Class is like a 9. Avengers is like an 8.5.
I think Avengers is like one of the best paced movies.
Oh no, Avengers is amazing.
Avengers is
I
so
love
good.
Avengers.
You can skip all of Phase 1 and start with Avengers and be good.
No, I love it. I
Yeah.
say this like not hating. I don't think the Avengers is overrated. I don't
Yeah.
think Guardians is. I love both. I think all three of those are like peak.
They are.
The only but as far as like,
Really.
and like even as like an origin movie, I think the only one that I have above it is the first Spider-Man. It's like right up there with like Iron Man. It's like right up there.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, I think it's really good. I give it a watch, please, because.
Okay, I'm gonna rewatch it and I'll
Yeah.
come back to that because I haven't seen First Class in years. Have you seen First Class, Jason?
It's like hogging the mic. No, you can't. You're not talking. I saw it literally like 3 months ago. I love that movie.
Really?
I love that movie, man.
First Class. Okay.
Now, is it my favorite team? No.
Sure.
I just think the Fox universe. I think 99% of the movies suck.
They do.
The first
This
Deadpool.
one is good.
But X-Men
This one's
First,
legit.
it's one of the newer ones. And it's actually good. You know, like Days of Future Past?
Yeah.
I like
It's
that
the-
one a lot.
yeah.
But
Days
it's,
of Future Past.
it's the one, I thought it was the
Give me
one before.
panic attacks.
Yeah, First Class is before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It came out right before it. And that's whenever they were actually starting to do good.
Yeah.
Until they just kicked themselves.
Huh. Okay, I'm gonna have to. I've definitely seen it before because obviously,
So,
but I'm gonna have to rewatch it because
I love it.
Okay, it's fine. All right.
Compared to all the other X-Men movies, like, it doesn't feel as gritty as depressing
Mhm.
as some of them, and then it doesn't feel as stupid and like lighthearted as like some of the really early ones. It's that perfect blend of like, okay, we got some good stuff going on. You're making me invested emotionally. Then you just take it right from me, and then you gave it back to me right after. I was like, oh my god. Whenever he got shot, I love how I laughed at that. Whenever he got shot, and he got paralyzed, I was sitting there, I was so sad for like a day. For a good day, I was
All right. What's your good
Oh yeah, that whole sequence where like they betray him and who's the girl that is blue and
Mystique.
Mystique, and because Mystique and Charles are like built as like best friends.
By the way, hold on before you go, Jennifer Lawrence. Jeez, Lord, she plays Mystique.
Jeez, Lord.
Yeah, and
Continue.
and like just like they were like literally brother and sister, and she betrays him, Eric betrays him, and then also like all that leading up into the moment in Days of Future Past, whenever he's like, you abandoned me, dude, it actually breaks my it is so like perfect. I just think it's great. I think it's like a great Magneto.
Wait, I remember.
For Fox movies, I will say that is
I
probably-
could have sworn at the very end he was telling her to go with Magneto.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, I just don't, because I was like, betraying. You told him to go.
So
You told her to go.
Well, she still betrayed him, but he made a promise to her that he would never like read her mind. But in that moment, he read her mind and could tell that she wanted to go, and could tell that she wanted to go with him. So even though it still like broke him and like made him depressed that like his childhood best friend was doing it, like he encouraged her because he knew it's what she wanted to do. But yeah, it still was a betrayal. But like yeah, anyways, I just think it is so well done. I think it captures Charles and Eric's like relationship, and like I think it's a great like Magneto origin too. And Magneto I think is one of the best like Marvel characters and villains.
How would you feel if like 2028, right? They start off the X-Men and they make like Magneto a black guy and make it the civil rights movement.
No.
What kind of question is
No.
Because you know Magneto is like Jewish Holocaust like survivor.
Okay, no, that's.
How mad would you be?
See,
Because you hate. I know you.
So what you're doing here is you're riling me up again. No, that is.
Bruno hates. He hates black people.
No,
I don't hate
cut
black
this
people.
whole
No,
thing
that's
out.
not. No, this needs to be in here.
I'm so
This needs to be
uncomfortable.
said. If they made Magneto black and changed it to the civil rights movement, completely kills it. It just kills the character.
It does, yeah.
It really no. That's what I was talking about. Right there. That's like the other side. I wish I talked about it last time. If we keep doing this, everybody's gotta be black. Everybody.
Yeah, bro, dude, we're good.
They're my friends and they agree with me.
No, what the?
Continue, bro. Continue.
No, I'm gonna reword it better. If you try to push diversity onto other characters, now again, I was wrong for my take a little bit on
You weren't
the Falcon.
wrong necessarily.
It's not. Again, I know that he was like
You just
Captain
worded it
America.
weirdly, yeah.
It was weird. I just don't want them to give an excuse to be like, hey, Black Panther is gonna be white now.
Well, fun fact. You ready?
I do know that there's a White Panther, but he's still called White Panther. He's not called Black Panther.
2 weeks ago,
What happened?
they put out a new Black Panther comic and he's white.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Bro, that defeats the whole thing. Like,
Honest.
oh my God, bro. You're rage baiting. You gotta be rage baiting.
I
No,
promise
I've seen it too. I don't know if it's. I didn't know if it was real or not. But
No, it's a real. I'll pull it up right now.
All right, well, there it goes. They're gentrifying Black Panther now. So that's the thing. So whoever let this happen, just know we're gonna see another White Panther. Oh, we're gonna see civil rights. You know,
No, we're not.
Okay.
Alright.
So here it is. There's a new Black Panther. There's a new Black Panther comic book featuring T'Challa's son, Katima, who is white due to a genetic condition.
So he's albino. He's
Oh my god. Okay.
oh my no. That's not even it. Cause he's just albino. He's still black. He's genetically black. They're saying because of a genetic are they just gonna try to say that he's just some random white?
No, that's a white guy. He's got blonde, straight blonde hair.
No. Albino people do have blonde hair.
Straight blonde hair.
Not straight.
That's
Let me see.
straight blonde hair.
Let me see. Just go ahead. Let's go ahead and just flip it to the camera real quick.
That's straight blonde hair.
Oh my god. No, and then it's like it. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a white guy.
Okay. We're gonna move on now. Okay, to my. Oh wait, is it your hot take turn? Oh yeah, you go. All right, so this is gonna be. How many more do you want to do? 'Cause I'm just gonna do one more. I'm gonna just do one more.
I'm only gonna do one more.
I don't have another one.
Alright,
So
so
this is
we'll
your
just-
last one, Jason?
His last one, and then I'll do it.
Ooh. I got two. Ooh, okay. All right, we're gonna go away from comic book stuff.
You're fine. Take your
All
shit.
right. Will Ferrell is the best comedic actor.
I think I disagree, but like I don't give a fuck about Will Ferrell and everything. I think Channing Tatum's probably better. I think Channing Tatum in 21 and 22 Jump Street is better than all of Will Ferrell's career.
That's one thing though.
Adam Sandler's better.
I'm an Adam Sandler guy.
Adam Sandler is not better.
His movies overall probably suck more, but
They do suck more.
like Adam Sandler has some misses.
What do you mean? Don't know. What?
Adam Sandler has.
Bro, Adam Sandler.
If anyone's ever seen Click, or I believe that's the one.
Is that when he's like basically like God with a bike?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Bruce
movie's
Almighty
amazing.
all over
again.
Happy Gilmore, of course. There's one movie where
That's a take I have.
where his like he meets a girl who loses her memory.
Yes.
That's an amazing one. Like he has really heartfelt comedic movies. That I'm an Adam Sandler
But
guy
he
personally.
just makes
But
so much.
sure.
He makes so many movies that
Like-
some are bound to bust.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But Will Ferrell, like, yeah, I think he's great too.
I don't think
I'm
that's
an
not
Adam
really.
Sandler guy.
Yeah, I feel like that's just like more like I don't know.
It's more subjective.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get somebody mad, and I thought I was gonna at least.
Alright, so this one is also kind of escaping. Like I have more. Like I think I'll just quickly throw. I think the first Joker is probably also one of the worst movies of all time. I think the movie's terrible. With Joaquin Phoenix, his performance perfect. Movie terrible, but that's not what I'm gonna say. So 2017, a movie came out. It was Power Rangers. I think that movie is at least an 8.5, maybe a 9 out of 10. And I think we, as like a community, people that don't do that movie, failed because they deserved a sequel. That cast was perfect. The movie was genuine. Have y'all seen it?
No.
Y'all haven't? Oh my gosh! Please do yourself a huge favor.
I love Power Rangers.
It's so good.
I've watched all the Power Rangers.
And the suits are so amazing, and it's funny too. Like the Blue Ranger, he's hilarious in this movie. I don't know. I think if we can pull like a Battlefront 3 for Power Rangers and like force them to make another one, I think I could say I lived a happy life.
It's just like Power Rangers don't do well as movies. They do better
They're not.
shows.
Yeah, they're not. They're definitely nowhere near as popular as like how much money did Power Rangers 2017 make? Let's look at that up.
Compared to the actual Power Rangers movie that was just goated.
The old school one.
Yeah, it's so good. I can watch that now and it's so good.
Yeah, I can agree. Oh God!
Nothing.
140 million? That's it?
It's been out
Dang!
for a little while, long while. You're getting nothing for it. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, who's gonna go out and watch a Power Ranger movie right now, besides just super nerdy?
I mean, they are. I mean, it's like a dying.
It is
it's a
dying.
yeah. Which is unfortunate because the
Who
Power
watches
Rangers,
Power Rangers
they're
now?
so
Not really
cool,
nobody.
dude.
I would say it's dead, like the Power Rangers at this point. I feel like 2017, and I didn't watch it. All of the trailers I've seen look like do intrigue me, like all the clips I have seen. But yeah, Power Rangers, unfortunately, I feel like they have kind of died into
In
obscurity. Yeah.
They're still going in Japan.
But yeah, I always liked the Power Rangers as a kid. I always thought it was cool. I mean, pretty iconic, but I do feel like they are a dead franchise.
I think this would be really funny for you just to hear real quick. So they took the Red Ranger from Power Ranger series and put him into an isekai anime.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It was real nice, but it's still going strong over there in Japan. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Shirt to Japan?
Oh god.
With
You
that,
can't even make it past
with
Walmart.
that,
I cannot wear this. they would shoot me.
okay. That's you're saying.
They would.
Are we on?
I know exactly what they would do.
We're gonna go on and agree to disagree.
They're gonna
Like-
take me down to the woods.
Stop.
Oh my god.
I want to expand on. The DCU for a second, because
Trash.
Creature Commandos was the first project we got. That was
Trash.
To be fair, I didn't give a fuck enough to watch it.
Trash.
But okay, so it's an ongoing conversation about Batman in the DCU, right? And everyone was like, bring Pattinson into the same universe, make him the main Batman, which I wholeheartedly think that is worse than like acts of terrorism.
Yes.
Think about it. The Batman, in my opinion, is the best Batman we've ever gotten.
Me.
Yes.
It's not supernatural enough to be in the same universe
That nigga's getting
where
folded.
Metamorpho is walking around and you have all these people that are like flying, while in this one you got the Penguin and
he's really
Water
just a
colors.
mobster. Like he's not even.
yeah, and he's still, and to be honest, he's still like nothing about the Batman is super, like it's still grounded. It's almost as grounded as the Dark Knight movies. Just
It just
better.
doesn't it doesn't over-explain.
It
why
was-
it has to be
yeah.
grounded.
And you get Gotham in that movie.
And
In the Dark
Gotham's
Knight,
super
Gotham is
stylized.
literally just New York.
Yeah.
But if oh man, I'd be so mad if they come to a decision like, okay, you know what, the Batman Part 2 is going to be the first introduction to Batman in the DCU, and it's Pattinson's Batman, and they're just kind of like, okay, we're moving on with him. I think would be detrimental to what the DCU has going for themselves.
I agree. I think at this point that I want it to be separate, but I disagree to how
I feel about it.
like if they did it, like I'd be totally
But
fine
it's-
because I love Pattinson. And my
Did you watch
point
The
of
Penguin?
contention. I have not, dude. I heard
It's
that.
it's grounded. It
But
wouldn't make any
my
sense.
point of contention is that that's the point, though, is that Batman at the end of the day is a normal dude, and like I said, yes, the Batman is a more grounded interpretation, But to me, it wasn't like Nolan's trilogy where it's like you could never see Nolan, But to me, like it was one movie, especially if at this point it's been three years since that's happened. If it's gonna be 5 years until by the time the sequel comes out, it'll be like 5 years. Like if they were to do a time jump, if they were to like do a soft, like small, like adjustment, like I think it would totally pass.
The Riddler is the Zodiac killer. It's grounded.
Yeah.
They've established that it's grounded. I feel like if you change that, then I feel like you're not only are you ruining the first one in an instance, like you're kind of being like, oh, this didn't happen. Who gives a fuck? Because if the next movie you have a 6'8" venom juiced poison vein, it just makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. And then like if you put Clayface into the Batman, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't because that's not real. It's not grounded enough to fit into that universe. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's gonna take a lot of time before they can jump there. Because again, when he's a lot younger.
Yeah, it's his first year being Batman.
His first year being Batman. He's a lot younger. The technology he has is nowhere near enough to compete. So if they put him in the DCU right now, he's not gonna work. Yeah. He's gonna get mollywopped, or it's just gonna look stupid how he wins. Right now he's taking shots of adrenaline, and that's like the most unrealistic thing about the movie.
Yeah, that is, which is very Batman-like, but I mean, I don't know. The Batman is still a fantastic movie. I just feel like when Superman comes out, if you put the two next to each other, it's just I couldn't see those two on screen together. It wouldn't make sense.
To me, that's like the whole point, though. Is like the Superman movie, at least from what we've seen in the trailers, is like just so wild. Like he's fighting a kaiju in the middle of Metropolis. Yeah. There's Metamorpho. There's the bowl cut Guy Gardner. Like it's so like comic booky and goofy. And the Batman feels like Batman Year One comic or like Long Halloween, like this super like and like there is a comic book Batman that is like grounded. Like this whole like my whole issue. Like Batman's solo stories have the capability of being like this slow, like detective, like slow burn kind of story, and that's how I feel like the difference between the Batman and the Dark Knight. Like I said, we agree, like the Dark Knight is just so like far from like being Batman. It's literally just like
damn near Batman's Man of Steel in my opinion.
Yeah, like it's just so far from being the character. I still think the Batman like gets a grasp of the world and like of Gotham, and like I still think it's stylized enough. And since it's so new into him being Batman, like I said, I think if they would probably have to change some plans of like what Matt Reeves had in store. But I think if they did a little time jump, if they went through a loophole or whatever. But James Gunn recently, I like my opinion on it is like they're waiting on to see how Superman does.
I'm 99% sure Pattinson is not the DCU Batman, mainly because in Creature Commandos, you see Batman.
Yeah.
He's damn near 6'5", 250. Yeah. He's huge. Right? That's complete opposite of what Pattinson is. So I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm saying if it was to happen, I think that's like, what's like an MCU equivalent to that? I don't even know. I think it'd be so stupid. No, fuck you.
But, and this is another opinion, or this is another thing I saw that there's a theory right now that they think that there's going to be like Pattinson will play DCU Batman, but it'll be like another version. Like it'll be
and think about what that would do. Think about that would do to a casual fan.
I really hate that as well because they're what's the word? They're comparing it to J. Jonah Jameson, but it could not be more different because how are you going to make two Batman solo movies with the same actor and different universes? And like that makes no sense. Is a side character that took. What was it between Far From Home and Spider-Man 3? 13-year jump in between. Like that is so different than
honestly,
Batman.
Fucking. That's the perfect casting for J. Jonah.
Oh
he's amazing.
Yeah, and I love Pattinson, but you can find another attractive,
Jensen
tall white
Ackles,
dude to play Batman.
There's plenty of options.
Yeah.
My number one is Reacher, Alan Richardson.
Richardson, or whatever.
He's my number one.
His hair black. I'm sold.
He's jacked enough for it, and he is.
He's a good actor. I think he's like kind of like Poop in Reacher because he's playing kind of that kind of vibe. He plays it good, but I just think, I don't know. I think he'd be such a good Batman. I could see him next to David Cornsweet.
I really like Ackles. Ackles is such a basic pick, but it's a basic pick for a reason. Like we've seen him, but we've seen him pull off like that attitude, that character. I think he could pull off like the charisma of Bruce Wayne, but like the darkness and the grit of Batman. I think he looks the part. I know he can act the part. So,
Dude, okay, I have a question for both of y'all. Superman comes out. What do you think happens to like what James Gunn has going and Superman comes out and it flops? I'm talking like mass public thinks it's like a 5, 6 out of 10. Movie makes dang near barely makes 500 million, 550 million.
I think
because no one rewatches it.
I think DC's over.
You just scrap it?
No. You don't scrap it, but I think DC like it's done. Like if Superman, because Man of Steel was the origin of Superman, obviously of Zack Snyder's vision for Henry Cavill's Superman, but also for the DCEU. And if they come out swinging again with another Superman as an origin for a DC universe, and that flops again, I think obviously they Supergirl's already, I'm pretty sure it's almost done shooting, or if
yeah,
shooting.
Yeah, and then so is
Lantern's is about to finish shooting. Clayface is about to start shooting. Peacemaker's already done shooting. Like they've already spilled in tons of money to like they're not just gonna be like, all right.
They're gonna run through their first phase. Regardless.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like a negative Superman would impact those so badly that like after all that's done, it's like is moving on worth it?
Now I think the likelihood that Superman flops is
it's almost 0% chance.
Yeah. People are
projecting, but its opening weekend is lower than I thought for some reason. It's like it's between 90 million and 130.
The pre-sales for the pre-sales right now are at $10 million. For the Batman at this point was at $7 million, and the Batman almost hit $1 billion. I think it was like 800 or 900.
Damn, really? The Batman made that much money?
Or maybe it was it made a lot of money though, and I think Superman will get to like 8 or I don't think it would quite get $1 billion, just because comic book movies as a whole aren't as.
But think about what Batman v Superman did to the public's eye.
Of both of them.
Because things. You got at the time you could argue that it's like whoever you are, it's Spider-Man and Batman Superman, or Superman Spider-Man Batman Superman.
Like those were the three.
Those are the top three. That movie did not. It made like what $850 million. That's bad.
No, $850 million is so crazy. It's
but if you have Batman and Superman right next to each other, like that made less than Guardians 2. Guardians 2 was a bunch of nobodies and it made 880. The first Guardian made 830.
I mean, that was prime MCU.
Yeah, but
like,
why is the first Guardian 2 as nobody make you just as much money as the two biggest names in comic book history?
I think your perception of how much $850 million is. The MCU alone has like by far the highest. Like you can't really compare it to prime MCU because like the likelihood that we'll ever see a franchise touch those numbers. Like even the MCU now cannot do the numbers they were doing like back then.
Yeah, Thunderbolts made 350 and it was highly critically rated. But
so I don't think you can easily just say like, oh well, the Guardians are the Guardians and Batman and Superman are obviously Batman and Superman. So. But
to think about it, you have those two names next to each other, right? Two biggest names in almost media, right? And those names alone should bring you to a certain a point of money. And then the fact that the movies are so bad that no one was rewatching them, right? Kind of killed the whole thing. And so it's like if you do the same shit with Superman, it's like I don't know.
And
I think Superman's basically a guaranteed 7.5 out of 10 minimum.
Because people have started to see like the first 30 minutes, they're loving it. I mean, anybody with half a brain that has seen the promotional trailers, it looks like they just get it. Like obviously, like we haven't seen the movie, we still got to see the movie, but like there's a reason why everyone thinks that it's gonna do great numbers and be critically acclaimed. So,
what do you think?
It's gonna do good. Namesake alone.
Superman.
It's just gonna do good. Like I know it's gonna. Batman did good because it was, again, if people really cared more about like Batman as his character, Dark Knight would have done good.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Batman did that good though.
It did.
I'm very surprised.
But it's again namesake.
I mean, I saw it 4 times in theaters. If you can bring it back that many times, you're doing a good job. Yeah, and it's long as fuck.
Oh wait, I have a funny story. I saw the Batman 5 times the first week it came out. By like the end, I was like a regular at this fucking AMC, and they the people up at the front desk like knew me. Like it was bad.
Hey, Batman again, buddy.
Yeah, it was bad. But no, the Batman. It's my 3rd favorite comic book movie of all time.
That's too high.
I think it's really good.
That's too fucking high.
I think it's really good.
The fact that you have some movies over Winter Soldier, Civil War, No Way Home, like that just these Suicide Squad doesn't touch those movies.
See how much the Batman did.
That's sucky.
Oh, it made $772 million.
That's still a lot of money.
Like, yeah, like I
for
think
a standalone Batman movie.
I think how much like the money that MC was making in their prime is like really skewing like how much money that
Perceptions,
is.
yeah.
Like same with like BVS, like 850, considering especially like how low Man of Steel was received. Like people already didn't like.
Do you know how much money Ant-Man and the Wasp made?
How much?
It made over $1 billion.
Yeah, Ant-Man and
the Wasp.
Far
Granted,
From Home made over $1 billion.
Ant-Man and the Wasp was riding off the back of Infinity War.
Yeah.
Granted, so there's obviously like some
Yeah.
leeway there, but like, come on. Not Quantum, Multiverse of Madness made $400 million opening weekend.
Yeah. Like
Opening fucking weekend, dude.
and like those numbers will just never be touched. Like
Yeah, and
even,
then also,
even if
like-
DC does good, which I think the new DCU will be like I think
MCU,
it'll
peak
be
MCU is, I don't know. Like,
yeah, no movie franchise will like consistently do those numbers with such like that ever again. But do you have to agree or disagree, Mr. Cameron Hamilton?
Jalen Cameron Hamilton.
Well, don't we all have one?
No, we just did it.
Okay, I have an agree disagree, and I really want your opinion on this, specifically you. Marvel should have recasted T'Challa, Black Panther, when Chadwick Boseman died. They should have recasted him, went on with the whole Black Panther movie, and like nothing happened basically. Maybe gave him like a little memorial at the end, but just completely recasted him. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is just another Black Panther movie. We get a sequel. Agree or disagree? It's tough because if you think about it, they kind of did recast him by getting him a son, technically. Like imagine if they were just like, Damien Idris, get him.
I think it's good that they didn't recast him and they let him die in the actual show.
Yeah, it was.
In the movie. However, I think they could have did something a little bit better than what they did afterwards. I mean, they didn't have a lot to work with, and they didn't know, of course,
what was happening.
Yeah, he was gonna die. So I kind of like, and then you could kind of cop out. I think people would give you a little bit of leeway for some type of cop out whenever you find out like your main flagship guy is dead.
I mean, Wakanda Forever still did good.
Still did good, but I think it could have did a lot better.
I think the movie sucks. They did the best they could with the cards they were dealt, in my opinion.
And now
But I've seen people. Are you mad that they gave him a son? Like, are you like that's disrespectful?
Not really, because I mean, it happened in the comics just now, so granted.
But what do you think? Do you think they should have recasted him?
I think it's a really touchy subject. I don't think there's a right answer necessarily.
Yeah.
I do think.
So there is a right answer.
I do think.
Make him white.
Make him white.
I do think like killing him off in the movie just to give him a son, and then obviously like by the next time we see the son, he'll probably be late teens, early adult, like, and it'll be it's essentially So wait, what did you say?
He'll be like teaming up with like.
Oh, Young Avengers, yeah. So I get both sides of it being like they pretty much just recasted him and just made him
It's touchy.
a teenager,
Yeah,
and then also get the point of like, how weird it would have been if you were that actor, because like obviously
You would have got a lot of hate.
I don't even know about hate necessarily, but like just imagine like
The hate is wild. Like
You're taking
Oh, yeah,
over
no one
Chadwick Boseman.
I don't think
like,
people would have hated
Yeah,
him.
if you hate, first off, if you hate him, then you're just kind of like.
There's fandoms out there that would have gave that dude death.
Yeah, they would have because they're weird.
Yeah.
But it's like.
But the
what's he
mass
supposed to do, bring
population,
it back
I
from the
think,
dead?
would have been respectable. I don't even mean about that. I just mean like, obviously, all the people that worked with Chadwick Boseman in the first movie and everything, like, they obviously
That was weird.
like love him. Like, it's Chadwick Boseman. He was like one of the most loved and respected
Genuine
actors.
person,
Yeah. But like, just imagine if like that's your coworker. That's like your become a good friend of yours, and now you have to step into their shoes, not just as like the character, but also to all the people around you. Like, it would have put that actor in like a really weird and tough spot.
I think
so.
I do think they handled it to their best of their ability.
So.
I think with him having the son and him eventually going to be taking the Black Panther Black Panther. It is a cop out, but like, what are you gonna do?
What's the son's name in the movie? You ready? It's fucking T'Challa.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were gonna do.
I cried,
It's
though.
fine because I cried as well.
Yeah.
I cried though. It's fine because like
Wakanda Forever, JC.
again, it's fine because it was a really bad circumstance. So no, I feel like you kind of can't get mad at the cop out.
Let me know what y'all think in the comments on that one.
However, this is a really good chance. I want to see Miles Morales and Black Panther in the same movie at some point.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Hey man,
There's not a fucking chance.
all this black representation. Let's get some young Avengers going. Change it up a little bit, huh? Why can't we do it in the positive way?
I think we'll see Miles in Secret Wars, like just randomly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's already been mentioned in the series.
Okay, going on to the next agree disagree. I don't know.
We're done with the agree disagree.
No, I have one more. You ready?
This is so wild. You got it.
What?
You got it. I don't have no more.
We've only done like
Let's go.
3.
Yeah, we're only done 2 or 3. Fucking. No.
We've done 5.
No. Okay. Well, no. I've only read 2 off of here, you idiots.
How?
Because we
How?
just
we've been
rambled. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
You ready? Britt's gonna. I know his take on this.
I'm already mad.
Marvel died with Avengers Endgame. Agree or disagree?
Oh.
Agree.
You're fucking stupid.
I agree.
Marvel did not die with Endgame.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, No Way Home came out following 2 years.
You know what's so wild? One of my things is Marvel after Endgame is borderline unwatchable.
That is so Deadpool Wolverine.
That is a horrible movie. That is a horrible movie. But I'll address your first comment at first. So what that Marvel
The
died.
MCU died with Endgame.
So
Yes.
on a baseline level, died, I would disagree. Obviously, has it dropped off by money, by both the money they made, by both the critics, and audience reviews.
And the
Yes,
shit
it's
they putting
fallen
out.
off.
Yeah.
But
The
obviously,
TV
like
shows, they ruined it. The
No
TV
Way
shows.
Home obviously came out. That made over $1 billion, even
shows
during
suck.
like
No Way Home made
still
almost $2
during
billion.
yeah,
watched
so,
it
and
too.
that was still during like recovering the
Yeah.
of the COVID. Like people still like were
But
just
then
starting to come out.
they blew it with Multiverse of Madness,
I
right?
like Multiverse of Madness though, which we
That is
we're not gonna get into.
such a terrible
But-
opinion.
But like No Way Home still made a lot of money. Shang-Chi is still one of my favorite MCU movies.
Yes, that's a
Guardians
good
3 is still one of my favorite MCU movies.
It's like
they've
they'll-
still at points they've still made good movies, but anytime those movies have come out, what is the number one thing people say? Oh, Marvel is back. Marvel is back
and
to
the
their
next
roots.
movie sucks.
And then the next 2 or 3 movies suck, and then a year and a half, 2 years go by, and then they drop a really good movie.
But think about it.
And-
Did y'all watch the Avengers Doomsday casting when they showed the chairs?
No.
Did you see the views on that? It was like what was the most watched live stream of all time, period. Right? So clearly people give a fuck for them to announce chairs. And also, granted Thunderbolts didn't even crack 400 million, but critically rating and audience rating wise, it's fantastic. Captain America made almost 500, but it's poop.
It's just after Endgame, every other movie just felt not important. It just didn't feel important.
Shang-Chi.
It does, but it didn't feel important. It just felt like a whole nother movie. Like it just felt like it's just another movie to watch.
I think where they went wrong was that these movies aren't leading to anything.
That's
It's
what
like
I'm saying.
they're
There's nothing
taking
there.
3-year breaks after. Like it's gonna be 5 years from Spider-Man No Way Home to Brand New Day. 5 years.
Mhm.
Okay, Shang-Chi, he had his solo movie, and then we're gonna see him in Doomsday. Like, how is he leaving that bar at the end of the movie, going straight to Doomsday? The Thunderbolts just got their movie, right? Yelena and all of them just got it. They're in Doomsday. Captain America, he's got 1 movie. When in the original trilogies, he had 3 before Infinity War and all of them. So it's like, that's to me where they made a mistake, is putting too much money into the shows. Where WandaVision was good, but the ending kind of blue balls you.
No one's really like the average consumer. I wouldn't say nobody. Because
Yes.
The average consumer is not watching shows.
And that's what ruins it.
Exactly.
I think
So it died with Endgame.
they did.
It's dying.
They did a horrible job of.
Even Deadpool and Wolverine said
adding-
they were dying.
They did a horrible job of not committing to adding new characters that people liked, and also in a way butchering the old characters that people did like. Like almost all of the movies that came out after Endgame were sequels, like Wakanda Forever, Multiverse of Madness, Thor 4, Guardians 3, Ant-Man 3,
Forgot about that.
and literally Thor 4, probably my least favorite. One of my least favorite.
It
movies.
is my bottom tier. I like the Incredible Hulk more.
Yeah, it is horrible.
Yeah.
Ant-Man 3, horrible. Captain America 2 is also. The Marvels is a good movie, but that's also another sequel.
Insane, right?
Yeah.
The Marvels is one of the better movies that come out since Endgame, and it just got shit on
Yeah.
by like
Just dumb
white
grifters.
40-year-old
yeah.
men. Yeah,
But they didn't even watch it. Just
exactly.
Just hated
It's
it.
like, oh, women lead.
Yeah, but yeah, and then the new characters
No,
they
I
added
love that movie.
like was Shang-Chi, which everyone loved, and then like I said, they did nothing with it. And I get they got to make a million movies, and it's not just as simple as, oh well, here's another Shang-Chi sequel. But like you could have had Shang-Chi show up just randomly, had him kick some ass. Everyone would have laughed, or not laughed. Everyone would have loved it and cheered in the movie theaters. And you know what I mean? Or like the Eternals, like people didn't like it, you kick it out. All the TV shows, they were trying to introduce like new characters like Moon Knight, She-Hulk, and nothing just quite landed. And then the biggest thing that worked was No Way Home. And while I love No Way Home, and you're gonna get mad about this, I love No Way Home, but No Way Home had set a horrible precedent for superhero movies.
How?
What do you mean how?
How is it a horrible precedent?
Because now No Way Home doing as good as it did brought back Hugh Jackman, which I hate. I love Hugh Jackman, but I hate. It also caused The Flash. The Flash was heavily inspired by No Way Home. And you just said The Flash was one of your worst or least favorite movies ever.
That is complete. But the Flash was just, they're idiots for doing that first. If the DCU was established and this is like the third, fourth Flash movie we're getting, it would have been 10 times better.
Well, this leads into my.
The DCU is just greedy.
This leads into my I guess my overarching point. Toby and Andrew were brought back, and everybody loved it because both of them. Well, first of all, are beloved actors and were a huge part of Spider-Man and everything that led up to it. But also because both of them their stories did not get finished. Like Toby was supposed to get a fourth and a fifth movie, that never happened.
Yeah.
Andrew was supposed to get 5 movies as well. Those last 3 movies never happened. They both kind of got screwed out of they both got fired and got screwed out of their job.
Yeah.
Same, and so that's a big reason why it was so great to see them again. It's like these actors and their version of the characters get closure here. Hugh Jackman got his closure. Hugh Jackman's story ended with his Wolverine, and now you're bringing him back for no other reason than to make money, which they made a lot of money. So by all means,
highest rated R-rated movie of all time.
Yeah, it was the highest grossing and one of the most critically acclaimed R-rated movies of all time. So even though I hate the movie, was it a good business decision? Obviously, but
there's plenty of plot holes in the movie, especially with Wolverine.
Are we gonna full on ramble into this movie? Because
have you seen Deadpool Wolverine?
Yeah, I've seen it. Is it worth fully rambling into this movie?
I hate this movie.
It's like I get it 100%, but we've been still stuck on this one segment for a second. So let's get on to a different segment.
Fuck you! Deadpool Wolverine's good, man.
Oh,
that sucks. It's
that
so
movie
bad. It completely ruins Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. It completely undermines
No, it does not.
happened in Logan.
Listen,
there are no stakes in the MCU because who cares if a character dies? If the actor can just come back from another world, it doesn't matter.
It's not the same character.
It is. It's just
No,
a
it's
wash,
not.
horrible.
That is not Logan.
It is
that
just
is
a
a whole
Walmart
different
brand
Wolverine.
version of Wolverine.
Okay,
It
so is it
weak.
if Andrew Garfield dies, does that affect Tom Holland?
What do you mean by that?
That's not. They're completely different characters, right? Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland.
Because they are different actors.
But Hugh Jackman in Deadpool Wolverine is different than the one in Logan. Two completely different.
But
the fact that he returns in this movie does not ruin
Logan.
Logan.
Personality. It's the same actor playing the same character.
Does not the same personality.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Well, actually,
my gosh,
maybe.
alright.
But you gotta. It's oh my gosh. Like in Logan, it's the perfect storybook ending for him. But bringing it back in Deadpool Wolverine does not fucking ruin it. Because you can see that they bring him back, and he's literally holding his corpse. He's still dead. That Wolverine that one that we know and love is gone. This Wolverine is the worst Wolverine ever for letting people die and killing humans, I guess. But which they should have shown us, not told us. But regardless, you saying there's no stakes in the MCU fucking pisses me off.
Because it's true.
No,
I guess this is my agree to disagree. There are no stakes in the current MCU as there is, and here's why. Because you could kill Iron Man, you could give him 11 years worth of build-up, 3 solo movies, countless of Avengers and team-up movies, all accumulating to building up his character to that final death and everything. And everyone loves it. It's a perfect ending, regardless of how you feel in Endgame or whatever. It's a perfect ending for RDJ, for Iron Man, for everything.
So heated.
And same with Hugh Jackman as Logan. He had at that point, I think the first X-Men movie was 2000 or 01. You had 17 years to lead up, countless films, all leading up to that death, right? Who cares? Who cares about those stakes and about that side? This is a perfect example because with X-23, right? This is an example of stakes. Knowing that Logan dies in that movie means he can never see X-23 grow. He can never be with her again. He can never be around her. That is.
He doesn't see her grow.
that is, you never see those characters interact. That is an example of stakes. That is an example of like conflict in a story, and that's part of what makes the death emotional. But who fucking cares if you can rehire Hugh Jackman to play the same character, even if it is a different version of the character, and you can see those characters interact again? Who cares? There are no stakes. There's nothing at all.
That's like your stupid Iron Man take, where it's like, well, you brought RDJ back for Doctor Doom, so who gives a fuck about Iron Man?
That's not what I hate. It's part of the reason, but
dead. Logan is dead. Like, I don't see how people
are
like.
That's not the whole reason why I hate Doctor Doom.
I know, but like,
playing Doctor Doom.
I get it, but like, the character we know and love and we fell in love with is gone. That person is gone. So what
his
the
face
does it mean?
gone.
Shit.
What like? I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. 100%. I get what you're saying. Narratively, what you're saying. What you're saying. Hold on. Narratively, what you're saying is true and correct. However, his face is still the same.
So do you love Hugh Jackman Wolverine immediately when you see him in Deadpool Wolverine as much as you loved him in Logan in the beginning? Do you feel the exact same way? Do you love those characters the same?
No.
No, you
because they're different fucking characters.
That's not why. No.
Yeah, but this. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you don't love them the same because it's two different stories. What you're saying is correct. However, for someone, say an average watcher is doing that. Honestly, an average watcher wouldn't even care. So an average watcher doesn't even care.
We're losers arguing about it.
Yeah, we're just losers arguing about it. I agree with both of y'all. However, it's just like, I agree with you narratively. I agree with you just watching it. You know
but
what I'm
the
saying?
no stakes is what throws me off because there is stakes.
There's stakes.
Because he's still dead.
But seeing there's no stakes for us as the consumer.
I disagree.
In the narrative, there is still stakes.
I think there are no stakes because literally name it almost. I mean, I'm sure there's other multiverse or doppelganger stories out there, but 99.9% of stories, right? If we're all characters in a story and Peyton dies, we can never see Peyton again. Peyton is never around. Peyton is not involved, and we all have to mourn Peyton for the rest of that story, right? In the MCU, it does not matter. It doesn't matter if Gamora dies, if they're just going to bring back another version of Gamora to be brought in. It doesn't matter.
They were mourning her, and they mourned her when the new version was there.
Well, that's a little bit of a different story. I think the way they handled that was a little bit better. And I think they made the characters more distinct. But literally, Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine is just a washed, poorly written, horribly executed version of the same exact character that was in the X-Men movies.
No, I don't think it's poorly written. I think it's
poorly written is why.
No, I just don't think we got enough. They didn't. It was too compositional. They should have shown us why he was the worst Wolverine. If they show us, if instead of telling us, they show us why, like they show us him getting all the X-Men killed, you give a fuck more about him. No, that's why you don't care.
Remember that scene from Wolverine Origins?
What scene?
You remember the first scene where you get to see him go into war with his brother?
Right? With Sabretooth?
Yes, with Sabretooth.
Uh-huh.
You remember that whole entire scene?
Yeah.
You remember how you felt in that impact? They should have did something like that to how everybody died.
But I'll be honest. I don't care as much about Wolverine and Deadpool Wolverine as I do in Logan, right? But that's because they're just different. I don't see the no stake. It isn't.
I don't get
like the multiverse thing is a whole thing because there actually is no stake. Like
literally, because
oh my god, dude, fucking Galactus is about to eat worlds and there's no stakes.
There's no stakes because there's an infinite amount of worlds. So who cares if a Galactus
They do.
Who cares if Galactus saves us?
No. It's no stakes for us as the consumer.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
There
obviously
is.
There's stakes in the.
We have our main Earth 6666. What's the main Earth in
616?
616. That's ours. We've watched half the world
and
die.
It's already dead.
But
it's already dead. All the characters that we love are gone.
If 616 gets eaten up, it doesn't matter. Because there could be 617 that is just a copy and paste of 616 that just continues the story, and it's all just washed characters that are poorly written and not the same as the original ones.
I don't think I could disagree more with it.
I don't understand how you
even if they were to we could see the Fantastic Four go into a new world in I just spoiled Thunderbolts for you, by the way, on accident. end credit scene of Thunderbolts is the Fantastic Four going to the new Earth 616. That's the end credit scene. You see the Fantastic Four ship coming to that world, right? Which in a way you could be like, oh, that spoils Fantastic Four because Galactus is gonna win, or maybe it's a whole different Fantastic Four. Who knows? But at the end of the day, if that is them, that group of people still lost their world. They are grieving, and I can resonate with the characters and feel their grief, like, of them losing their world.
Yeah, that's different though.
That's stakes.
Well, but
Like they are feeling something. They are feeling lost, and I love them so much. I'm feeling it with them. That is stakes.
also, I think that is fair. But I think also the way that MCU handles their stakes and their consequences, if you would, is really bad as well. Like Civil War,
yeah.
they had a whole movie about Civil War and literally the Avengers broke up over the Sokovia Accords, and the Sokovia Accords played no effect in the MCU essentially after that. Everyone just goes about being superheroes, doing their own thing, like it plays no effect. Infinity War and Endgame, half the world, half of all living life in the whole galaxy gets snapped away, and then in Far From Home, the first post-Endgame movie, it's turned into a joke. Like,
hold on, the Sokovia Accords do play a part. For the next couple of years, Captain America and the Falcon, and they're on the run.
well, yeah,
we just don't see it.
Yeah, but then that's my point is that they're trying to tell so many like big stories that they don't have time to sit with the consequences of the
And
previous
give us the
ones.
small details.
Yeah, exactly. Which is just part for the course when you're making a massive. But
Cinematic universe. Yeah.
I do think that things might land harder if there were more emotional moments or consequences over those. But I promise you, and I guess I can't guarantee it, but say Galactus wins the Fantastic Four and the new movie coming out next month, their world gets eaten up and they have to come to 616 to solve the issue and Doomsday, whatever. If they actually let those characters sit and grieve in that, and like you see them like completely change and like they don't know what to do in this world and they're affected, then I'll be like, I could probably feel the stakes of that and everything. But if it just turns into a joke and they're just all laughing at them and they have to move on because the plot
And
determines
we'll come back to this, and I'll agree with you if that's the case, because that would be stupid.
Right, and that's
Like,
what they've done in a lot of.
Think about
in a lot
what
of
would happen
ways.
what could happen in Doomsday, in next year. Which honestly, I think it'll come out in 2027. I think we'll get
Yeah,
pushed back
dude, I
later.
think, yeah.
They better push it back later. But think about what we're gonna like. People are going to die, and they will not come back. Like Sam Wilson might die in Doomsday, and that Sam Wilson will not come back. The same Sam Wilson we saw running with Cap on your left will not come back. Like he could die in Doomsday, and that guy is gone.
Yeah, you're right. Like,
and that would fuck me up.
and obviously, like part of this, like.
Well, you just hate black.
No, it's not even. No,
Okay,
no.
well,
I'm gonna say no,
we just
no,
get
no,
to
no,
do
no.
this.
Without like, I'll just be agitated if Sam Wilson died. Cause I'm like, then what was the point of making him Captain America? That would actually upset me.
He's gonna die. He needs super serum. Like, there's no way he could walk in there and onto Battle World and live. As
It's
a
like,
regular human, in my opinion.
But
Oh well.
I will concede and or agree, depending on how Secret Wars ends.
We need to see it play out. We need to
Yeah,
see it play
but as of right now, like I don't feel any stakes because it's like Tom Holland Spider-Man could die. It doesn't matter because 5 years from now, Tom Holland, you're gonna see, oh, Tom Holland is coming back in Spider-Man 14.
Or Secret Wars.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, who cares? Like the reason why I think Toby and Andrew work and bringing them back works is because their characters didn't get a resolution,
Unfinished story, yeah.
and their actors didn't get to finish off what they worked so hard for. Like that's why it works. Whenever it's Hugh Jackman or whenever it's like freaking Alan Cummings Nightcrawler, like or Michael Keaton Batman in The Flash, it's like who cares? Like nobody needs to see these characters again. Nobody needed to see Hugh Jackman play Wolverine. I agree, Hugh Jackman is awesome. Even in Deadpool and Wolverine, I won't lie, like it's still fun seeing him interact with Deadpool and their
I'll
banter.
agree it wasn't a need. I can agree on that.
But like in my opinion, and this is my strongest opinion of the whole like MCU, like but bringing back old characters and everything. Why we got so excited when MCU made the deal with Sony so that they could do their own Spider-Man is because we at the time MCU didn't miss. MCU made you care about Ant-Man, who you never cared about. MCU made you care about Guardians of the Galaxy. Iron Man and Captain America were C-list characters.
Yeah.
It made you care about all these guys that at first, but in the comics you didn't care about.
And Spider-Man was the best in Civil War. His introduction was
Well,
amazing.
this is irrelevant, but I say all that to say, because the MCU at that point had such a strong record and rapport, you wanted to see an MCU Spider-Man because they hadn't missed with these other guys. whenever in 2018 or 19, however long ago at this point when they bought Fox, you wanted to see an MCU Fantastic Four and an MCU version of X-Men.
We've been begging for X-Men for years.
Yes, and instead we're getting a 65-year-old Nightcrawler and a 92-year-old Magneto. And I'm like,
but
I don't
do you
need to
think
see
that's
that.
setting up the 2028 X-Men slate, the mutant slate? I think we're getting that in 3 years.
Because I would much rather get a proper MCU X-Men team, a proper MCU Fantastic Four team, a new Avengers team, and see all that build up to Secret Wars rather than pulling old actors from 2005 because you don't know how to write an X-Men movie right now. I would much rather see a actor who's never played Doctor Doom before jump in and play Doctor Doom instead of just bringing back your most famous actor in the franchise because you don't know how to write Doctor Doom. That is my biggest gripe
What
with
if we watch
RDJ,
Doomsday,
Doctor Doom, and
we watch Doomsday and Doctor Doom's like not the king of Latveria. He's just like some nerd in a closet.
some
or
dork.
shit. Yeah.
It's another Tony Stark.
I don't know. Okay, I still disagree with you, but I understand where you're coming from, and
Yeah.
I think it all just depends on how they go about the next
Yeah.
couple of years.
And if like Secret Wars ends and like the multiverse somehow like you can't travel in the multiverse and like it's only 616 moving forward and like yeah like whoever dies across Doomsday and Secret
Is
Wars
dead.
like is dead like sure there's stakes and all that, but as of right now I don't care if X character dies because I know in Secret Wars they're gonna
Or it's
just
5 years later.
yeah
we'll see.
they're and so right now I don't think there's stakes. Sure, can they reintroduce stakes? Can they write? Of course, like there's endless opportunities.
Okay, yeah. So I just disagree with you on that.
But
Like,
I think as of right now, like there's no.
I think
stakes.
I think the public probably agree with y'all more. I think most people will agree with y'all as in the state because I can just like in my mind there's a huge difference between these two characters even though the face is the same. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's like I can separate them when you can't or whatever the case may be. So I don't know.
All right, we've talked about Marvel, right?
DC.
We're not talking about DC.
Well, me and Peyton
Y'all,
talk
we
about our
talked about
expectations
comic. We
for
talked
DC.
about comic. I kind of want to get more because again, this is a movie review.
Mhm.
So let's talk about your favorite genre of movies besides DC comics and all that.
Sure.
What have you seen this year?
What's that?
What have you seen this year?
Dude, to be honest,
Nothing. You've been busy.
I'm a restaurant manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep me really busy. I haven't seen any new. I haven't seen Sinners. I didn't see Thunderbolts or Captain America. I am behind. The only I've seen Daredevil, Born Again. But anyways, that's to answer the real question that JC asked of my favorite genre. I love true crime, or not true crime, crime or detective shows or movies.
Thrillers and shit.
True Detective season 1, in my opinion, is one of the best, maybe the best, other than Daredevil, maybe, but one of the best TV.
Series.
One of the best stories ever. Prisoners, the one with Hugh Jackman.
Oh
and,
my
Jake
god, that
Gyllenhaal.
movie is beautiful.
That movie is peak. Those are probably my top 2 examples of.
Do you
crime.
like the Black Phone? You would
That's
love the Black.
that's the one with Ethan Hawke and
Yeah.
the Black Phone's really good. I like that one too. That's like that more like psychological horror.
Yeah, and the Black Phone 2 comes out this year.
I saw that too. I haven't seen How to Train Your Dragon yet, but the guy from the Black Phone is in.
Yeah,
is
I'll
the
do
main
my
character.
review on How to Train a Dragon in the next episode.
But yeah,
I did in the last
I
episode.
would say crime, high fantasy. Of course, I am a huge D&D guy. But the thing is like, obviously I don't think you guys would understand this, but anybody watching, it is so hard to capture what makes D&D so fun in TV and in movie. And I feel like such a fake D&D fan for not seeing the movie, especially because everyone loves it.
Dude, I remember convincing myself to watch it, and I sat down and watched it. Like, this is like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's so good.
But
Yeah.
like a quick, because I love fantasy, but a lot of the time like these fantasy shows or movies that everyone is like, dude, if you love D&D, you love like Game of Thrones is a perfect example. There's a huge difference between Dungeons and Dragons and like Game of Thrones because Dungeons and Dragons is the whole point is like the 3 of us are going on this crazy adventure together and like this is the main plot. Like we're seeing the 3 of us like bond and grow and attack. It's a very simple concept. It's 3 guys or a group of people trying to kill one big bad guy or trying to do this to get a whole lot of money or trying to become famous for it. And then in Game of Thrones or like these fantasy stories, it's like there's 8 plot lines and they're going all across the world. Like it's so different. But high fantasy and crime are definitely my 2 favorite outside of comic book stuff. And I also really like just like historical action stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about your favorite. Let's talk about your favorite historical like figure of all time. So
no,
back in
not a
Nazi
historical
Germany,
figure. I
there
mean,
was a guy.
stop.
Let's talk about your favorite anime of all time.
Let's do this.
Okay, you ready? Hold on. Before we go into
Ooh, yeah, I know he got something good.
So I have an anime hot take that I wanted to say for when we got to this topic. Because as we all know, I've seen one anime, Solo Leveling, and I give it like a 10 out of damn near perfect.
I need to watch that.
Right?
So good.
I have an opinion on anime that it's like, I think every anime is way too similar and way too complicated and way too big of like 1,000 episodes that you are scaring away like the average anime consumer or the average person. That why the fuck would I sit down and watch Naruto, or why would I watch Goku, whatever the hell that is? I mean, there's 2 billion episodes. I'm not watching Kamehameha when I gotta sit there for 2 years to watch it. Or One Piece? I gotta watch a whole season of fucking filler?
Whoa.
Hold on. Okay, so number
He's
one.
just Mr. Fantastic.
Let's slow down. All right. That I say there's only probably maybe at most 300 anime total that's above 100 episodes. Everything else is around 12 to 48 at most.
Too much.
12 episodes is too much.
Name
12?
one show outside of anime that has over 1,000 episodes. Fucking Mickey Mouse does it. SpongeBob does
no,
it.
there is an anime. I forgot what. Not anime. There's a show that has over 1,000 episodes.
Family Guy doesn't.
I forgot what it's. I know there's another anime that does. It's called. It's like not Conan. I'm tripping. But that's besides the point.
Favorite anime, Brit?
I'll answer both questions. I do agree. Like obviously the average person is not gonna watch One Piece or whatever. And even to be honest, whenever I finished Naruto, I got to the time skip in One Piece, which is I think almost 600 episodes.
It's so wild.
And at this point in my life, I could not watch.
No.
I could not dive.
Because y'all were watching.
I was
it when
16 in the middle of COVID when you
Yeah.
literally had nothing in
Nothing
mind.
else.
It was just that and Gooning. Like there was,
That and Goonie is so wild.
you just watch 10 episodes
Anyway,
of One Piece and then turn on
for
some.
refuse to
10
shower.
hours of porn. Let's go.
But yeah, so I do get where you're coming with that, and obviously like you said, I don't disagree. I still think One Piece is 100% one of my favorite anime.
See
It's
live action?
so good. Yeah. The live action is actually a perfect example of what I've been trying to say, and this goes with comic books as well, just to kind of compare them. When you're watching like the Superman movie that's coming out, you're not saying, okay, there's this Superman comic, and the Superman movie better be word for word just like this comic. You just want a good representation of the character in the world, right? And One Piece, to me, it's not word for word, bar for bar, scene for scene, shot for shot like the anime or the manga. But to me, it captures the character, the world, the story, the themes.
What?
What?
Are you fucking stupid?
What? Wait.
You said the anime is not bar for bar, word for word.
No, the live action
No,
is
I'm
not.
saying the
it's
live
not-
I just said
It's
That's
not
my point.
copy and paste.
Yeah, that's
Oh
my
my god!
point.
For a
Let me-
second,
It has its own creative
let me
feature that
clarify.
it can like.
No, I thought you were talking about the anime.
Oh yeah. Let me clarify if I said that wrong.
I'm
I'm
sitting there
saying
and I'm
that-
losing my mind. I'm like, it is literally that is exactly what the adaptation is.
So in anime to manga, it is literally word for word, shot for shot, like the same. Obviously, sometimes there's liberties or whatever, but it is 99.9% of the time like word for word the same as the manga. Same with like even animated comic book movies like Under the Red Hood. Like there's still animated stories that is literally just shot for shot, panel for panel, what the comic book was. But the comic book movies that are coming out aren't word for word what the comics are.
Okay, so you're basically trying to say that the One Piece live action show it's a good adaptation, but it's not the exact same as the anime, so it justifies its existence.
Yeah, it would never be the exact same as the anime, but they get the characters right, they get the world right, the theme. You can tell they care. It's not word for word. It's not as good as the anime or the manga, obviously, but in my opinion, it does a good job of making you care about the characters in the world in a live action form.
Okay, so let me ask y'all this then. So this is coming out on Thursday. I'll have done my How to Train Your Dragon review on a Tuesday. How to Train Your Dragon live action, you put it next to the animated movie, it is the exact fucking same. So, do you think Disney, DreamWorks live action movies are waste of money? Do you think they're bringing in new audiences? Like, because nothing justifies the existence of a live action Toothless movie. There's no reason for you to make it, except for the fact that you introduce people like me to the character that haven't seen the original. You know what I'm saying? So, like, do live action remakes need to call it a quits, basically?
It's for kids. It's for the kids. It's literally, they're making slop. It's easier for them to make a
Slop.
It's good, but I'm saying they're
That
trying
shit
to make
is
slop, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it's easier to make live action compared to making cartoons now.
You know how much money the Lilo and Stitch remake made?
To answer your question though, my favorite anime ever, and this is so basic, I love One Piece, man. One Piece is, and I know I've only seen at this point probably not even half of it. One Piece is great. I love Naruto. Like, all my answers are gonna be real basic. I hope y'all know. I love Naruto. Naruto's
There's
the one
nothing
that.
wrong with basic.
Yeah, there's a reason
You've
why
been
it's
watching-
the most popular anime.
To be fair, I've known you for a long time. You've been watching anime way before a lot of other people were watching anime. So I give you the pass for having basic.
And yeah, like I just feel like I like all the classics like Death Note. Death Note, I got into anime freshman or sophomore year in high school, but in like 6th or 7th grade, even when I
24,
hated
sounds
anime,
24.
even when I hated anime, I loved Death Note.
Is that the little book thing?
Yeah, and that's even when I thought anime was cringy and lame or whatever. Naruto, of course, is like in my opinion, is the classic anime. If you have the time to get through, I think without the filler, like 500 something episodes between Shippuden and the OG.
Yeah, it's like 500.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
If you have the time to do that and you're not
Total
an adult
700.
Yeah, I kiss
Yeah.
my fucking ass. I ain't watching
But-
that shit.
I think Naruto, like whenever I have a kid, Naruto's the one where I'm like, you need to watch this. One Piece, in my opinion, is one of the best examples of world building ever. Like whenever
I'll give
I
you
create a
that.
story, I'm thinking of like, all right, how did they create this world? How did they make it believable? How are the geopolitical, factors? How did they make you care about this world and the rules of the world? One Piece, I think, does a great job of that, and just forever expanding that world. Attack on Titan, of course. Attack on Titan is the anime for people who do not like anime. And
you need to watch that.
Attack on
You
Titan.
tried again.
Yeah. And they've made a live action Attack on Titan, but they need to make a
What?
Yeah, like a Japanese. It was
Yeah,
like a
no.
Japanese. They have not made a Western,
Okay.
but they need to make a live action Attack on Titan. And that one they can make word for word, just because of how short this series is.
That
They
would,
could-
I'll be honest, a live action AOT would attract me more than the animated.
Yeah, and I think it would bring in a new audience. If they did it right, I think it would do insane numbers.
Eren Yeager.
Eren Yeager.
But
Who would you rather have as a U.S. president, Eren Yeager or Homelander?
oh my god,
Eren Yeager.
yeah,
Really? Magic
Like,
Sign?
there's not with Eren Yeager, he's not a bad person. He just has bad circumstances.
So he makes
He's actually a
so
good
Eren
person,
Yeager
just
makes the
with
right
bad
decision at the end,
circumstances.
basically. Then, right?
Say again?
You think Eren Yeager makes the right decision at the end?
For who, for what he
for
wants.
that world
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
It's like he's like another war general. Like
Okay, so why do you think Homelander's bad?
wait,
Homelander
hold on.
is just straight up. He literally.
yeah, wait, let me hold on.
Homelander
Yeah.
is just weird and insane, and I don't trust that. Eren Yeager is not weird and insane.
What do you think, Britt? Eren Yeager or Homelander?
Dude,
bro?
this isn't even like close.
Like-
Especially if Eren Yeager was on my side. If you think about all the things he did for his people,
True.
like
so,
Homelander is completely just selfish, like God complex. Eren Yeager, everything he did was for his people. Obviously his close, friends and family, but on a bigger scale, just his community.
Yeah.
And so you're telling me Eren Yeager's my president and is willing to fucking
Die
do
behind
all that
Homelander.
insane shit? Of course, it's ugly. Like it's mass genocide. I'm not. But like, I'm not
Dude, y'all are bringing back some crazy
but like
He's a war
Homelander,
general. Like, it's
Homelander could
insane.
just be like, you know what, fuck it, and fly in here right now and snap our necks. Like,
I've never seen Attack on Titan. That's why I asked the question.
oh, okay, that's
For
fair.
you guys
'Cause
who
if you
judge
watched it, yeah, you would
Yeah,
you would
you guys
understand.
judge
That's
me.
That you
Judge me
judge
for
me
asking
for
stupid
one-
questions.
Like I understand on the surface level, you think like this guy who committed mass genocide
He's
versus
bad
like
guy.
Homelander who's just like.
I don't want Homelander to be right. That guy sucks,
Yeah.
bro. That guy's awful.
It's just like I don't.
I've never been more stressed in a show or movie watching somebody on screen than watching. I think
Yeah.
he's better than walking. I think he's better than Heath Ledger's Joker.
Oh I don't think that's different. You know a take I have that I think is kind of high.
What?
Vincent D'Onofrio, Wilson Fisk, number 1.
Better than Josh Brolin, Thanos.
Yeah. Thanos to me, this is another hot take I have. Infinity War Thanos, awesome. Endgame Thanos sucks.
Endgame Thanos is arguably better.
What?
Fucking stupid.
What? Endgame Thanos is better than Infinity War Thanos?
You can see the growth where he's like, you know what? Fuck you guys. Basically, I was doing it to help you, and now you're like, oh, we're already caring about us bringing people back. I want to kill you now. I'm doing this because I want to. I want to ruin your lives now. Like, he's irredeemable in Endgame.
What? That's why he sucks, because in Infinity War he has motives, he has a personality. In Endgame he's just this
I think
like,
he's more like
this basic bad guy, like this.
It's not basic. He has a much more fear factor in Endgame.
Wow. How do we get around it?
I don't know.
I don't know what happened. We're just talking about anime and stuff.
Anyways, yeah, we can go back.
Thanos!
Oh wait, actually, this is another hot take I have that includes an anime and a non-MCU or DC character. I think Eren Yeager is a better portrayal of a main character turned into an antagonist, even though it's not as simple. But I think he's a better version of like the fallen angel trope than Anakin Skywalker.
No.
I'm gonna have somebody on my side. I hope the comments, at least a couple comments are on my side.
You might have 4 comments
Now-
saying, I like Eren Yeager. No.
The anime fans will die behind him.
No, they won't!
Here's the thing. Okay, well, everybody slow down.
Actually,
Everybody slow down.
they won't!
They are hard to compare because Eren Yeager, although he does horrible things in the anime, like you discover the reason why he did all those things, right? Whereas Darth Vader, like Anakin turned to Darth Vader, Anakin in the first 3 movies is the protagonist. Like he's the main character. Yeah. He does good things, and then he goes from that into falling to the dark side, is a villain. And Darth Vader as a villain is a better villain because Eren Yeager isn't necessarily
a villain.
He is,
but like, the same if you're talking about
because they both sacrifice themselves.
Yeah, for the mass good, I guess you could say.
Right.
The main difference between Eren Yeager and Anakin Skywalker is Eren was never like, even though he became an antagonist in our eyes, we were still following him.
Right.
The whole time. We stopped following Darth Vader. We just stopped following him after Anakin died.
Yeah, it's different.
So that's why I think Anakin is a better portrayal of good guy turning bad, because you actually do see him turn bad, versus Eren, who you pretty much do know he's doing it for a greater purpose.
In media, in like movie media, TV show, Anakin's kind of the blueprint. He's not the first fallen angel, like character-wise, but
the biggest,
the biggest, and like when it comes to media and like what you see on big screens or home screens, he is the blueprint.
Anakin is Goku of like
fallen angel trope.
Yeah, fallen angel trope. Like, you know how Goku's just like he's basically the Superman trope for Japan, and he turned everybody into
Right.
Yeah. So Superman.
How do I describe this? Like at the end of the day, they are different. Like they are different. Like Eren, right? Like Eren Yeager, even like at his peak when he is committing mass genocide,
it's
but
like
even then, like when season 4 part 1 first came out, everyone like 90% of AOT fans was like, well, I don't care what Eren does. Like I'm on it because you see 3 seasons leading up to the point to what he's.
It's like
what
you know exactly what's going on and all that stuff.
Even if everything's not and Anakin turned to Darth Vader, like it's a different character entirely. So I get it's different, but like in my opinion, like seeing those first 3 seasons of AOT, comparing it to like the first 3 episodes of Star Wars, into him becoming Darth Vader and Eren becoming, you know, the bad, you know, the antagonist Eren. I think the motivations are better. I think like the fall to that moment is better. I think, to be honest, I think it might be cooler. But anyways, that I don't. We could ramble about this forever. I know Anakin's like one of your favorite like characters ever.
I think the writing in the script in Revenge of the Sith and movies like that is awful. Like I think the dialogue is pretty bad, but I don't think that takes away from how like dramatic it is.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like even though the script is corny and everything, like the battle on Mustafar is like it's peak. Like and even then like Obi-Wan like crying as he's like burning and like falling apart like. You're my brother. Like,
and you know what sucks?
It's amazing.
You know what sucks? when Obi-Wan came out, I was excited, but I think the show or Kenobi came out.
Oh yeah.
I think Kenobi
Yeah.
ruins Revenge of the Sith in a way because how does Obi-Wan Kenobi, a guy in the beginning of the show who can't pick up a rock with the Force, beat Prime Vader, beat him, have him on the ropes, and walk away?
Yeah.
Now Obi-Wan's responsible for the millions that die after this
yeah.
sequence because and Obi-Wan's a killer.
Yeah.
He kills people. And so him passing and killing Vader just killed everybody now.
His character from the first 3 movies, from the Clone Wars, he has never been afraid to
take a life,
to knock someone out if he knows it's for the greater good. So even knowing that it's Anakin and knowing that, he thought he killed Anakin.
He thought he killed him in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. And so you mean to tell me you thought you killed him whenever you did all the bad stuff, and the last, what was it, 10 or 15 years between episode 3 and Kenobi, he did countless more horrible things, and you weren't willing to kill him at that point. I do agree, but I do, unless you have another question for me, JC.
I got one more question.
Okay.
Yeah, wrap this up.
Well, I got a DC.
Wrap this up like you guys weren't spewing a Marvel for
it's been
an hour and 50 minutes.
Guys.
All right. So finally, I want to talk about One Piece and I want to talk about Attack on Titan because I saw a little bit of discussion. I saw a comment one time. It was who do you think represents freedom more, Luffy or Aaron?
I think I do.
I have a pretty good idea of like how I would explain it because I got a weird answer, but I want to hear your.
It's so tough because while they both represent freedom, it is like a different form. Like Aaron, I'm freaked out on the sidelines over here. But Aaron represents like someone put in the worst circumstances like ever, like and trying to get freedom out of that. Like, and if you, and like all jokes aside, like if you were to compare it to real world circumstances across history where people were put in these horrible marginalized positions and fighting for their freedom to get out of that, and Luffy is just a guy who lives, and I've only seen the first half. I've only seen up to past the Marineford arc into the time skip. Luffy could just live a normal life in the One Piece world. Like he could have just gotten a 9 to 5 and like just fucking kicked it. But instead, his version of freedom is just adventuring and discovering the world and not caring who's in his way or what's going on and wanting peace. Still in a way wanting peace and still in a way, how would I describe it? Like fighting for the little guy. But I would say a better representation of freedom for the average person would be Luffy, because it's like, just imagine traveling the whole world on a boat, But the better representation of freedom and like what it takes to be free and like fighting, like from oppression into becoming free, I think would be Aaron. So I think they're different. Yeah, that is a good question. But I think they're different representations of freedom, and they show, and just depending on what you can relate to, which, like I said, 99% of Americans can't relate to being trapped inside of a wall. That, you know what I mean? But
there was once a time. I was kidding. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so I would say in the most dramatic sense, Aaron would be a better representation. But for the average person who just is like, man, I want to adventure, I want to go out and just say fuck it, I don't care, and just do whatever it takes to see everything and do everything I want to do in life, I would say Luffy's a better representation of that.
Luffy sounds fucking annoying.
Wow. It's a little annoying in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie.
What would you want to get into about the DCU?
And we can make it quick, but I just want to talk about future expectations of the DCU post Superman. That's
okay. We can make
I'll say I'm gonna end this off with the anime stuff. My answer was Luffy is the representation of freedom, and Aaron is the representation of liberation.
Yeah, I think I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so. I was saying like that's. Yeah. I'm so glad you understand narrative.
Yeah.
All right, we can talk about the DCU.
All right, and for the last little bit of this episode, which I hope you guys enjoyed, because this is by far the longest.
Yeah.
I'm having a blast. Post Superman, what's the first thing coming out after Superman?
Peacemaker season 2, I think.
Oh, that's this year, right? Which they're like.
He's coming from the DCEU world into the
this
DCU
one,
world, I think.
Which is, I feel like, is going to confuse some people. It's confusing me a little bit until we see it, but. Backstory: me and him, we would sit in class, and watch Peacemaker together in high school because we adored it. Okay?
Yeah, we were literally not paying attention to. Who was our history teacher?
I don't know, but it was government. It was government class.
It was so
I shouldn't say their name.
Oh, it was economics. My bad.
Yeah.
He was like super big. Yeah, he got kind of blood. But we love like what do you give Peacemaker season 1 might be honestly
it's like an 8.5, 9 around that range.
Daredevil, ready? TV shows. It's called TV shows. Daredevil, Penguin, X-Men '97, Spectacular Spider-Man, and then I guess you can put Peacemaker top 5. Honestly,
it really is up there for me.
But give me so Superman, Peacemaker, Creature Commandos, the Lanterns.
Here's
No
my.
Teen Titans on that list as well.
It's coming.
But it's coming.
They said they're casting this year.
Yeah.
But here's my so
they told me you're gonna play Beast Boy.
What? I would have maybe understood if you're like Cyborg.
Nah, you're too short.
Beast Boy. Alright, bro. Now
Get the balls!
Okay, but
Get the balls! The balls!
here's my don't get me. I love James Gunn. Like literally, I just said one of his comic book movies is my second favorite ever. Peacemaker is one of my favorite comic book TV shows.
Get the balls!
Guardians, I think, is one of the best comic book trilogies like ever. Like he's just good at what he does.
No misses.
And for every single like project, I'm excited about. Like, of course, there's gonna be one or two that maybe are not as good as others.
Clayface, Lanterns.
But what I'm worried about the most is, as of right now, there's no Batman movie, like for sure coming out. There's no Batman casting. There's no Wonder Woman. There's no Flash. There's no
struggling
Aquaman.
with Batman.
Yeah, and so that is my biggest concern. Is like, and obviously I get those four just had movies. Wonder Woman 2 just came out in 2020 or 2021. Flash came out in 22.
Flash was the worst movie of all time. Wonder Woman '84 is right there.
Yeah, but like regardless, like they just had movies come out, and so I understand like giving it time to reboot.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like if you want a good DC universe, and if you want a good DC representation, like at the end of the day, who cares if Clayface is a good representation? We want a badass Flash. We want a badass Wonder Woman, Batman. And so that is my concern, and I'm hoping by the end of the year, after Superman does really good, we get more.
Static Shock. That's what I
more.
want to see.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Static Shock.
But
Please.
Yeah, Static Shock.
Give
is
me
awesome.
that.
Yeah, he really is awesome. But that is my concern and my.
I would love to see Booster Gold. Yeah. I'd love to see that.
There's rumors that they're working on a show for it.
It's not like a hot take or anything, but I think if they made a solo movie about this character, I think it'd be probably one of my favorites of all time. If I got like an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 Martian Manhunter movie, I think that's peak. That's fire. Because he's in the Justice League show.
He doesn't like that.
I think if we get a good Martian Manhunter movie, that'd be, oh man, I would just adore it. Because he's so good in the Justice League like animated
he's
series.
He's such an underrated. Because he's like, there's like the main 7 Justice League, like the Holy Trinity, and then like Aquaman, Flash, Green Lantern. But he's like the one guy that's like right outside of that, but that is so like just so peak.
I think he's a better character than most of them.
He is really bad.
Yeah,
He really is.
I don't give a fuck about. I care so much more about Martian Manhunter than Cyborg.
Sure. Yeah.
He's not even one of the big 7.
He's not, but I'm just like naming characters where I feel like people give a fuck more, like get better, like get
better stories.
Like why we got the Cyborg in Justice League and the Snyder Cut, and I technically got Martian Manhunter, but
super odd. Felt really odd.
But I think.
Why push him?
Yeah, and I do think like if they're going with like these.
This goes back to JC's little diversity thing.
Hey, so
technically, isn't Martian Manhunter black?
He disguises himself as a black guy.
But I do think if they're gonna go with like these like more side characters, before
he goes straight for white women. Little fun note.
Like playing.
I'm sorry, Brent, but that's just a really funny thing that he like strictly goes for white women. That's a
Martian Manhunter, Snow Bunny Eater.
Snow Bunny.
If it's snowing,
Martian Manhunter.
Bro, he is going.
He's fucking. Hey, one of these.
Bro, his weakness is fire, so he gotta go with the snow.
Hey, whatever. What were you
But
saying?
I just think like if you are gonna go with more side characters while you're waiting to refresh mesh with Batman, Wonder Woman, whoever, I think Martian Manhunter would 100% make sense. But like as of right now, like I said, they're casting for Teen Titans this fall or winter. What about the fucking Justice League? Like,
what about why are we getting
like Robin before Batman? Like what? Like, bro, you know what I mean? Like,
why are we getting a fucking a villain team up movie before we get Batman? Like
Yeah.
Brave and the Bold was announced at like when James Gunn got announced.
Yeah.
Brave and the Bold was announced. Now that whole thing is scrapped basically.
Yeah,
which
hoping,
good.
Because here's the thing.
Brave and the Bold is like a 40-year-old Batman. I heard.
I want it to be a Batman and Robin movie, but with a like year 4 to 5 Batman with a young Dick Grayson Robin, or even I'd be even cool with like a late teens Dick Grayson, so that way pretty soon he could be Nightwing. But
I just want to see Jason Todd. That's my
bro. Jason Todd. But yeah, starting with Damian Wayne and like because he'd be like 45, 50 would be a mistake in my opinion. But yeah,
Damian Wayne is so just insufferable.
Yeah, just a nepo baby.
Honest opinion.
Like a legit nepo, like that. He's by every definition a nepo baby.
So they go Teen Titans and they introduce Robin beforehand, right? They show Dick Grayson, of course, right? So what if they skip a Robin and they go straight into Jason Todd? How would you feel about that?
So honestly, like, and here's the thing, I don't hate that, and I don't hate Teen Titans coming before like Justice League or saying like the main characters. If it's the Teen Titans that are Robin, Dick Grayson, Beast Boy, Starfire, Raven, Cyborg. If it's like the non-sidekick ones, I don't have a problem with it. But if you're telling me we're getting like the full sidekick Teen Titans, like Wonder Woman, Superboy,
you might as well just go Young Justice.
Yeah, but like if we're getting like the full sidekick Teen Titans before we're seeing like if we're seeing Aquaboy before Aquaman and Kid Flash before Flash,
there's no way, right? There's no way.
But if we're getting Robin with like the OG Teen Titans, Teen Titans, then I don't hate it before like seeing all those other guys or seeing Justice.
Do you think James Gunn has a plan?
For sure, but there's like he definitely has a plan, but there's also probably plan A, plan B, plan C, plan whatever.
I think he already started off wrong with Creature Commandos.
I don't agree, only because like it's just like a goofy side.
It's good. Like I've heard like the people that watch it love it.
And it's also like I don't think it's necessarily like Superman is the first DCU because he said himself that he was writing Creature Commandos before he got hired. Superman is the origin of DCU. Like that is what I'm basing.
And to be fair, we're bitching about like not getting characters. We're getting Hawk Girl. We're getting Mr.
We're getting
and James Gunn came out and said that there's more people in it that we haven't seen.
Oh yeah, like there's a strong.
Like what if we get a Hal Jordan like?
I'm losing my mind. But this is my last big opinion. But this is my last like big opinion that I really want to get into. The Lanterns TV show I'm very worried about, and I'm the biggest Green Lanterns fan ever. You can make 10 movies alone out of the Green Lantern core comics. There is countless amazing stories. There's countless amazing characters amongst the Green Lantern core.
About Hal Jordan getting with a 13-year-old.
I have not read that story, and I hope that is not canon. But the Hal Jordan comics I've read, and that he is
You're the biggest Green Lantern fan, so
wow. Why'd you make it weird?
Okay, anyways.
Like literally, the whole Green Lantern thing is that they are strictly like their powers from willpower. Like they could be crippled and they are still gonna get up somehow and continue to fight. Like they have some of the coolest stories. Like the Blackest Night, if they ever did the Blackest Night in live action, I would cry.
And like the Yellow Lanterns.
Yeah, and like I mean all the Lanterns.
Like Sinestro is
badass.
Like,
with the Lanterns, I want to see all the Lanterns.
Yeah.
Like I really want to see that.
And
but
like
we're getting buddy cop.
Yeah, well, the idea of a buddy cop movie between Hal Jordan and John, which one of my things that I hate about it is Hal Jordan's pushing 60. Like, what are we doing? Like,
even though I love Jones.
Oh, me too. And even if he was like 40, I'd be okay with it. But like, I can't remember. Is it Kyle Chandler? I think is like 56 right now. You cannot tell me he's got more than 5 years of like playing the character.
Did you see the ring in the pictures?
Yeah, it looks fun. Yeah. But in an interview, I think James Gunn did literally like today or yesterday. He said like, oh, like there is like intergalactic space, like a whole bunch of it in Green Lanterns. But my worry is that like it shouldn't be the most sci-fi like otherworldly intergalactic series in the DCU, and it's not starting off like that.
People discredit the Green Lantern movie because there is a lot of sci-fi space in that movie, in my opinion, that isn't bad. You know, with Ryan Reynolds and Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Like, okay, CGI is a little iffy, but on his suit, but everything else looks good.
Yeah.
The villain sucks, but I don't know. We'll see when it comes out early, like May next year, right?
Oh,
They finish filming next month, so it should.
Oh, fuck, so early next
hopefully,
year, yeah.
Hopefully by Comic-Con we get a little trailer, and so that Lanterns is just. It's too early to fully
Think about that. Think about.
hate on it, but I am.
You
a
can
little
have your
worried
concerns.
about it.
Think about early next year. Punisher special. Daredevil in
Season
February.
2.
Lanterns early next year. As of right now, Spider-Man early next year.
There's July, it's summer, I think.
Well,
It's July, July.
yeah, first, you know what I'm
half.
saying? Yeah. So like, kind of spoiled. And next year is supposed to be Doomsday and not Wonder Woman, Supergirl. Doomsday.
Supergirl, I'm actually really excited for.
So am I.
And because Supergirl, in my opinion, because like I said, they're being patient with the guys that just had movies and those big names. If you don't feel comfortable doing Wonder Woman right away, Supergirl's
It's
like
the perfect one.
Yeah, she's such a good female lead. So I'm actually really. I think it's wrapped filming. I heard, and they have a whole year to work on VFX and everything.
They did for
That's awesome.
Superman.
Yeah.
Superman's been working on VFX for
And
well over a year.
this is actually another thing I'm worried about with the DCU. Even if Superman is like amazing, like looks as good as the trailers and is as critically acclaimed as I think it will be, does $1 billion, they will never have as much time to like perfect their Batman. They will never have as much time. Like now it's like they gotta start getting stuff out.
Batman so much more than Superman.
This is another take I have. Modern Superman, like what JC said, how you've never seen a good one, has ruined the perception of how good Superman is as a character.
That is very true.
And I love Batman too. I might even like Batman more than I like Superman. But I think Superman is like recently, like Superman, I think has fallen out of like a lot of people's like top tens even, which is
insane.
Like,
that should never be the case. But
People
I
should want to
I think
be
this,
Superman for Halloween. They don't want to be Superman for Halloween.
but I think this movie's.
They just want to be
YN.
Dude, I was at. Wow.
What?
Well, that being said, way to end that one, JC.
Man.
You got anything else you want to get off your chest before we end this?
It's true, man.
Man.
Because you'll be back on.
I will be back. I will for sure be back post Superman. I 100% will have a lot to say about Superman.
I'm sure we can just have like a DCU based.
Yeah, we can.
Off of that.
Because like I said, I think they're waiting so much to announce. I feel like James Gunn has a lot cooked up, and they just want all the attention to be on Superman. After it hits and lands and does good, I think they're gonna expose.
We can bring you on post Superman, Fantastic Four, and San Diego Comic-Con. That'd probably be ideal because then we can talk about all three of those. And I know at Comic-Con we're not getting any MCU. I know that for sure.
Really?
Yeah, Marvel's not having a slate.
Wow. Well, I think I could. I mean, it would just depend on my schedule, but I can definitely come on after Superman, and then if after S4 and Comic-Con comes out, I can probably come on after that as well.
Anyways.
But that's all I got. Thank y'all for having me. I had a blast.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all for watching.
Get the balls,
GTV to the house.